Okay. Hello world, I should be live on Twitch and YouTube at the moment. This is your boy Ace. Doing another test today. Kind of liked how things looked yesterday. But I just want to go ahead and get some just more footage in, get some more time on the books, if you will. Today we're not going to really be focusing so much on Warzone or anything like that. I'm probably going to be just chilling, reacting to some stuff, and then maybe just, you know, discussing these random topics. Oh, excuse me, pardon me. Got the burpees. Where is... There we go. Pardon me. I'm trying to get Facebook caught up here so we can get started from that. Okay. And we are talking. Perfecto. Apparently you gotta actually like fill in a post stuff before you can actually go live. All right, there we go. So that should be all right. So now we should be live on everybody now. So like I said, yeah, today we're gonna go a little different. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get into like some YouTube videos.
You're just a
and do a little bit of reacting to such and see what kind of topics my YouTube algorithm takes us on and go from there, you know. That's what I want, and boop. Let's get this full screen. That should be good enough. All right. And
the guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder
this
to
is
build.
bad. He's already
this
laughing.
Shit is lonely. Try to think about how you can do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friendships.
Ugh, see, you have to f it up. Yo, your whole invitation rescinded. Ugh.
Whoa. I can only imagine where this is about to go now.
Today's topic looks like someone who's trans became born a female, became a man, and they're having some regrets.
Nobody told
buyer's
me
remorse.
Lonely being a man is. I had closer friendships with random women I met in the bathroom before I transitioned at clubs because of how open women are.
Yeah.
To other women.
Washroom?
To other. So clearly we are looking at I'm assuming a trans man, a woman who transitioned into a man. So with that aspect, I'm assuming then you are now going to try and compare interactions with women as a man versus how you used to see them, and it's not going to change. I am sorry.
Everybody to the stalls. You don't talk. You get in there, you shut up. You go about your business.
Exactly. I ain't trying to talk to the dude beside me when he got his dick out. What
I'm
the
not
fuck
trying to
is
make
wrong
friends.
with you? Just because we not in a stall don't mean that when I'm using the fucking urinal, you're supposed to make eye contact or say some shit to me. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, don't talk to me.
Bags.
I got my dick out, and you
Eyes
got your
front,
dick out,
bro.
and it's in your hand.
Eyes
Don't talk
front.
to
Oh,
me.
yeah, because
Don't look at me.
both people got their dick out is gay.
Yeah, when you peeing and you just be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Huh?
Yo, I know all the fellas out there know exactly what that is, because it's like you don't even want to make eye contact in the doorway. Like, I don't want to see another individual. Like, I'm going to the toilet, I'm leaking, and I'm out. I don't. Nah, bro. You look over there, I'll look over there. We good.
Huh? Eyes straight. I don't even want to see you be like, yo, is it big? No, don't do that. Don't. Eyes straight. This man out here crying because he can't talk to other dudes at the urinal. I think you chose the wrong gender, my friend. You're not ready for this life.
You can't talk to the
Yeah, you gotta be built ready for it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just walk into it.
Between y'all,
There should be a wall.
if there's
Trump build it.
if there's urinals,
Forget the Mexicans.
if there's urinals,
Keep the men out.
you go pay. You see someone peeing there, you don't go next to him.
I'm Canadian. I'll vote for Trump for that.
You go
Facts.
next.
I want that wall.
You leave a space.
I'll take that
We out
one.
here having dick hands, and you want to talk to me.
I want to hear the blow dry and men's pooping in the back.
I don't want to
That's
hear
it.
what.
They got to do their business,
No,
but
I don't want to
nobody.
hear no problem caca, mon cher.
Nobody's
No problem caca.
No, nobody's talking. No, shut up.
Had in my 8 years of transitioning, because women are just so much more vulnerable and deep than men.
We deep is just a different kind of deep. It's just not deep in the same way. And I wouldn't call necessarily women deep or men deep. It's just different. I wouldn't call the conversation that the girls have in the washroom deep. Sorry. Not gonna do that. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. That's not deep.
And I think a lot of trans men feel this, is we knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to like have people want to hug us. And to have people want to talk to us. And to have a community. And then you transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you.
Every time I see these videos,
I'm sorry, because I should be laughing right now, because like these two motherfuckers are making me laugh right now. But in all seriousness, that part right there is something people don't realize or talk about, think about for men, is like, in society you are damn near invisible. Like, I mean, in real life you're just an NPC. You're not one to interact with. You're just a fixture, more like, because to other men it's like either you're a friend or potential business partner, or you're just existing. That's the three things I feel like with guys. Like, where women, it's like you're so used to instant conversations coming to you because you're constantly being pursued by some suitor, some interested person who wants to come after you, like in that sense, because like you're women are the commodity when it comes to dating, obviously. So people are going to constantly come towards you, want to talk to you. And then within that, the women have their own camaraderie because they know what it's like, you know, being on that side, because it's like birds of a feather in a sense. So for you to then be taken out of that and dropped into the male world, like, that's part of a transition that people don't talk about, I feel like, in these transition discussions. Like, okay, you know, you might have that body dysmorphia, whatever they want to call it, but, and I say that just because people seem to still argue on what those terms mean these days, and I think that's a little unfair. So I try to keep it as open as possible. It's like, all right, so I understand you might not feel you in your body and you want to change that to make it reflect, and that's totally respectable. But let's think about everything that's going to impact and how that's going to change life in general for everything. Not how is it going to impact other people, but like how is it going to impact you dealing with those other people now? Because you're going to be looked at differently by society, not because you're trans, but because now you're a man, and you're not going to be used to what that energy feels like because you might be so used to the female lifestyle. I mean, I feel like that's why they put such an importance on the therapy, or they should put emphasis on the therapy side of it, to make sure like people know what they're signing up for when they take these surgeries and stuff. It's a very serious thing, and I think that's also part of what leads to a lot of the suicide. I should say, I should change that, since apparently certain words you can't say. Don't want to get flagged by nobody, but I do believe that that can contribute to the unaliving stuff, because people aren't used to that lifestyle, and they think, okay, now I'm gonna be able to still experience life the same way, but more in the body that I want to be in, and people are going to still treat me as the person I am and how I was. You know, it's not so cut and dry.
I just have to laugh.
What?
It's just like, it's like women who become men and women who, oh my god, this shit's hard. It's like, yeah, man's privilege. A woman becomes a man's like,
Man's
this shit
privilege.
sucks.
This shit sucks sometimes.
I think there is a difference between men's relationships with other men and women's relationships with other women. And I think most people who've had relationships in both sexes understand there's differences. My experience having fostered relationships with men, it just takes longer and takes more investment before a lot of that vulnerability sets in. And you've been a man now, according to your own words, for 8 years. Very likely that you may have not fostered these traditional male relationships where you get to get that sense of deep vulnerability. And it doesn't always manifest itself in the same way. It doesn't mean it's not always powerful or meaningful or things like that. I can assure you, in my life, and the men I know, there's been moments of very intense vulnerability, and it's been, you know, things that are welcomed and they're fine. If you want to be a man, and then also, I know for me, I prefer my male relationships and friendships to my female relationships, friendships. But not everyone's gonna jive with the same thing, so I can actually understand why he's suffering and why he has this issue. If he's looking for that kind of relationship as a now man, or presenting as a man, it's hard for him to have that.
It's not the same. It's just like whenever.
No.
It's just like whenever I talk to some of my girlfriends and the lesbian ones, you know, and they're like, "Yeah, I can mac a girl the same way." No, you can't. You're a girl.
Yeah.
It's a whole different universe. You do not mac. It's not because we're after the same thing that the result or the experience is the same. Yeah, if I go to a girl, man, she got her guard up. If you go, it's a different thing.
And friendships are so much harder to build. And people are colder. And what's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men. All of that's valid. But I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men. Because this shit is lonely.
Like I said.
And I'm an emotionally mature man.
Bring it in, brother. One of us.
What?
It seems like you've really transitioned. Welcome to the club, brother. Now you know how tough it is. Man, we had before. It wasn't a test.
That's why every motherfucking dude you see, when you say, "Hey, how are you?" Fine. "Hey, what's up?" Nothing much. "How are you?" Good. "How's life?" Yeah, living the dream. You know, living the dream. That's that. That's that life, bro.
Is once you hit that, oh shit, they look at me and see a threat. Oh, now you a man. When you walk by a park and a mom hides her kids, oh, now you a man.
Yeah.
Welcome to that man life. Nothing reminds me more of the fact that I'm a man than when I don't have my period. Thank you, Jesus. And when I walk down the street and it's late and there's a woman in front of me and I can see she's scared. I ain't trying to do nothing, but I already know. Oh yeah, I'm a man. Yay. Welcome to the club. Just want to welcome you.
Oh, what do you mean? I can't go to the park alone where there's kids and the women playing with their kids?
Yo!
No, that's weird. That's weird.
Yo!
I can't just.
I didn't believe in trans stuff before, but now I do. He really transitioned. Yeah, he really one of us. Yeah. You one of us. Now you even thinking about self-deletion. Welcome to the club.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it
Yeah.
be like that.
You not getting in the club for free?
It be like that. Yeah,
You
no,
paying on the first day?
You pay on the
Come
first
on
day.
now.
Don't come in this.
When you download apps, you making the first move.
Yeah.
You look dangerous to everybody. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot
You
it's
want to
not
work
for
in a
water.
daycare? Hell no. Welcome to one of us.
My girl comes. Yeah, it's a game that we play. Let's say she says, I want to watch the movie. And I'm like, you're going to sleep during that movie. She's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, okay. And we watch the movie. And she sleeps in the movie. What I do is I film her. I show her later. And I'm like, ha! But this time she caught me. We were coming back from a trip and I told her, yeah, I'm going to eat and drink in the plane. And she says, no, you're not. You're going to sleep. You're tired. Went inside the plane. And despite the fact that it was a couple arguing in the back of us and a baby couple of rows down crying, I couldn't hear them. You know why? I was wearing the Raycon earbuds. And sometimes in the plane it's super uncomfortable because it's too hot. What do you think happened? Water resistant, so everything was comfortable.
Sorry.
Percent off.
Know how to build friendships, and it is still really,
Hold on,
really
what?
hard. I know how to build friendships, and it is still really, really hard. Try to think about how you can, in your small little community where you feel safe, can reach out to women in your life and just help them feel maybe seen for a moment. Or do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friends.
Ugh, see, you have to fuck it up. Yo, your whole fucking invitation rescinded. Ugh.
Wait, I didn't even hear.
Do to women in your life and just help them feel maybe seen for a moment. Or do little conversations to help their emotional maturity so that they can reach out to people and have deeper guy friends.
Ugh, see, you have to fuck it up. Yo, your whole fucking invitation.
Why you gotta change the other people around?
We don't need women to talk to us to like help their emotional maturity. Listen, having female friendships did not all of a sudden just raise my emotional maturity.
Alleviates
Facts.
everything.
Yeah, it's so condescending whenever I hear fucking
anything, it's
people.
more stressful
women who want
sometimes.
to do this all the time. You need some female friends so they can elevate your. Yo, shut the fuck up. When you hear men ever say women need to have male friends to elevate anything, that shit is so condescending, and this is the shit I don't like because all they ever do. This is all they ever do when they talk about men's relationship with other men is speak negatively about it. They do never speak
Right.
about it positively. And
As
the
if we
reason
don't
why it
know
annoys
how
the
to be
shit
good
out of me
friends.
is I know how positive those relationships are and how irreplaceable they are. Now, I don't shit on women having friendships with women. I think it's great. Okay? I think it's great. I think it offers things and you should have it if you can, okay? But I don't know why men's relationship with other men is always seen as lacking or trash or whatever it is. It just takes more effort to foster and it's just a different kind of reward.
I'm not even gonna say that it takes more time to foster. I'm gonna say that it's really just different because you know I got
Yes.
both. I got male friends. I got
It's
female
very
friends.
different.
It's not inherently foster male. It's just really different.
damn.
All right, I'm not.
Fucking-
No, it's
I'm sorry, that missile was disrespectful. Like, good lord. That was just rude. Bully. But I do agree with Preach here. Like, it's different. Trying to build a friendship between men is like, we can kind of click over little things, and then that just be the thing that like brings us together, and then we're like, bro, you're my bro now, and then be ride or die forever. It doesn't take forever. However, the longer it's there, the stronger that bond and relationship gets, because there's a reason why bros and bro life and all that shit is so big, because like it's as Vin would say, it's about family, you know, and we're all about the loyalty to the family. So like when I meet my bros, they're family. That's what it is, because we all know the struggle of being a dude in society and all the bullshit we're gonna go through. We have the same fucking struggles, we have the same issues. We actually have a very similar perspective on other things. The issue is actually having conversations with your bros is I think the thing that needs to be a little bit less considered, quote unquote, gay, as guys like to say all the time. It's like, all right, bro, like sometimes you need to talk about some real shit too. Life is real, and sometimes you need to get some shit off your chest. Maybe you just need a different perspective, but you actually want another guy's perspective. You wanted to see, like, bro, am I crazy for how this chick is acting right now? Am I fucked up for how I'm treating this chick, or whatever have you? Like, it's okay to have a woman's perspective, but for a guy, we also really need to have that fellow guy's opinion on stuff. Those are those things that really help us bond, because when it comes down to it, we have each other's back for that. It's like, you can have whatever opinion you have, but I still got your back. Whereas female relationships, you can have one disagreeing comment and now you've got a lifelong enemy. So it's different.
I'm right, and I have female friends, and it does not alleviate. It's just a different shit. Can you understand women's perspective a little bit better? Sure, but it does not necessarily alleviate what you're living.
I'll say that, and I'll tell you why it's easier to faster. Women invest more time in their friendships than men do, and women are just more open in general. So it's a lot easier for them to not only make friends, but deepen those bonds, because they have more flexibility and they prioritize their friendships more.
He's talking about, yo, make more friends with women, have more women friends. I have both. I'm not saying that a women are making more friends with themselves. Yeah, women are able to make friends with themselves and everything and stuff. I'm talking about, as a man perspective, having friends, man friends, and having women friends. Having women friends, and that does not necessarily alleviate anything. What I see, and that's what I live. I'm a live experience, right? Okay. So I'm gonna talk about what I live, right? Sure. At some point, it can be easier with men, because it's not gonna be as much as a fuss if we don't talk. Because they kind of need that thing. They need that energy a little bit more, or that reinsurance that you're still here and still friends. It's actually easier for a man, because I don't have to. If we don't talk, we don't talk. It's not a thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not pissed off, so it's gonna be easier with a guy than with a girl.
Yes, but for a friendship to deepen, you have to invest in each other. That just is what it is. So whether we or not we need to talk every time or whatever, that's not the point. Mm-hmm. Is if you want a relationship to deepen, you have to spend time. You have to actually have conversations. Sure. And women are just far more likely to do that than men are. That is statistically true. So because women are making more of an effort, obviously their relationships are going to feel deeper or faster deeper in terms of fostering that friendship there.
Right. They're going to be able to
you talk say a lot, deeper, faster, deeper.
They're going to be able to talk more. But
I'm a 12-year-old.
Talk more about y'all can talk more about your feelings. When you talk about your feelings, it's a different thing. And if you have to say something about them, it can become very much more complicated. If I have a problem with my guy friend, I'm going like, yo, listen, this happened, and they really appreciate that. We're gonna talk it out, and everything will fine. Oftentimes, if I'm like
make the video a little bit bigger,
and I'm like, yo, this and that happened, it's that.
Like I said, the game.
What I said turns into how she felt.
It's still
about
testing.
What I said, and no longer about what I said. Mm-hmm. So in that sense, it's going to be very hard. It's going to become very hard. Where on the male counterpart, it's often this and that and the third happened. That's how I feel. Well, that's how you feel? Well, I don't feel. And there's going to be a discussion about what happened. Whereas on the woman's side, you're going to have a discussion, and it's going to be about how she feels about what you said. Oftentimes. Okay. So that can be very difficult when you try to deepen a conversation or how you feel about certain things. Even not only necessarily if there's something that happens with that person, or just talking about different stuff in general. You want to talk about a subject, and it turns into how that person feels around that subject. And when you talk to men, oftentimes we talk about the thing. Like, we have to decipher a lot of things before we get to the core of the subject that we're talking about. And that's why I feel sometimes it's easier with men and it's faster with men. But that's just how I see things.
Yeah, sure. I think Yeah, I think maybe you find the pathway to being in a friendship with men maybe easier. I think for most dudes that pathway doesn't even really start because most dudes report not having any friends or maybe 1 or 2 friends at most. Whereas women have a much healthier social life and have better ties to their families.
I know, me personally, I got like
more times in their friends than their family,
maybe 10
which I think
good
is a
friends.
wonderful thing. They're prioritizing the things that matter. Men struggle with that. Okay,
Very, very
Men
tight
struggle.
circle.
Now, when they do foster those relationships, I do think that they're more powerful in my personal experience. But I think women are far more apt at engaging in social lives than men are. Men will spend their days gaming, they'll spend their days doing a lot of other things. But as far as like making time to see their friends or see their family, a lot of time that'd be a secondary where women use seats at the top of their priorities. So that's just something I noticed. And it's not just from that, even from work, like men will forego vacations or forego spending time with the family much more likely than women in terms of Christmas or things like that. If it means they can make more money, they prioritize things differently. Maybe that's because of relationship expectations or what kind of pressure society puts on men to be overachievers. But it's clear women are just better at fostering relationships than men are. If you're being honest, most dudes have a hard time making friends. Most dudes have a hard time making friends. I suspect that for those guys, being in a relationship with them is probably also really tough for women because all of their social interactions just come from the woman. I imagine that gotta be kind of weird. That's never been me personally, but I could see that being a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you got no friends, and then you start dating a girl, and she's the only
friend, and then her friends become your friends or couple friends. That's the thing. Becomes his friends as well because he ain't got no friends. So whenever there's outings or a couple outings, they go together, so they start to connect. But it's on her side. That does not rarely happen.
So what, he starts hanging out with her friends solo?
I mean, no, not really. But the only connection that he has with the outside and other people is at work or the friends of the girlfriend.
Okay.
Then that's still weird. Like it's a one-way thing, you know what I mean? Or people call you that word and stuff like that. Anyway.
But yeah, I guess for the trans man becoming a man for him basically meant that he realized that men were lonely, and he wishes that essentially women could help men learn how to foster friendships better. Okay, well I think it begs the question, which I think is a really important one. It's like, why do you think men struggle to make friends? Because maybe his suggestion is not crazy, right? Maybe when he says women need to teach men, maybe there's some truth to it. Let's take a second and let's take a step back before we go, hey, fuck you.
That part though does make sense because it's like it is hard to make new friends sometimes because like if you don't already know, like if somebody in your group of friends doesn't already know who this person is and they just bring this person into the circle, it's like, all right, they cool. But then like if nobody can vouch for this motherfucker, it's like, all right, who the fuck are you? So it's like people can be like that. So it's hard for, let's say, somebody transitioning to like trying to come out as a new identity essentially to the world and say this is who I am, and now you're trying to make new friends as that identity. I can understand that might be very difficult for some people.
I already did earlier. And let's say there's some, what can women teach men about friendship? Is that something that we can really learn? Is it something biological, social?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. I think there's a possibility of there. You know, I'm just being a bit open, being a little bit more available. Like I learned that having girlfriends, I learned that when they bring up a problem, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. They don't want your solution.
They just want to vent.
They want to vent. The first step, yo, this and that happened. Don't try to be logical with that shit. Don't try to solve the problem. That's not what they're here for. They need to vent. And I think that's a way. It taught me to read a bit more into what people wanted and stuff like that. So same thing that happens with, like, I was able to transfer that into my guy friends and understand what they just need to be listened to, or just not me poking at them to see more information and stuff like that, just letting the door open. And more time than ever, they don't say shit. Like my guy friends, they don't open up right away, but they know I'm available and open. They move on to other things, and then they're gonna proceed into eventually later on, when they're ready on their own time, talk to me about whatever the hell going on. But the girl side, when they come to you, oh yo, this and this and this should happen, and this, shut the fuck up. Nah, listen. but there's not much to say at some point. You know what I mean?
I don't think men need to take away women's vulnerability. I don't think they need to take away from them like how women engage in conversation and venting all that other bullshit. Because I'm not trying to hear that shit. You know, a girlfriend, that's already enough. I ain't trying to hear that from everybody else. But I will say this: one thing men need to do, and this is something I tell dudes even in dating, get some fucking hobbies that make you a little bit social. One, and two, men gotta prioritize relationships.
Well, obvious.
I do agree with that.
You can take any kind of hobby,
and
whatever it
both
is
of
that brings
those.
you around people that allows you for having social interaction. It doesn't even have to be with the opposite sex. When I say dating, I say dance-related stuff because you're often with the opposite sex. But even hobbies that bring you around other dudes, you know, like for most men, their friendships actually come from their hobbies.
Go to
when
the
you join a
gym.
bike group, when you join a gun club, when you do
Running
those things,
club.
or a golf course, they see their friends. That's how they do it. It's through their- a lot of men
Fishing
have
club.
social activities that are generally antisocial.
Yeah.
Or they'll spend all their
That's a
day
good
gaming,
point.
but nothing in person. I'm not saying online relationships aren't nothing, but I'm just saying generally they're not a substitute for a lot of real life relationships.
Bingo.
So men don't invest enough in social hobbies. Women do. Go
You
ahead.
said dancing. That's gay.
True. Or if it's not
Now
gay,
here-
it's you cucking other people, right? Taking their wives. So when you're not being homosexual, you're stealing other men's wives. Whatever. Don't explain to me how that's both gay and well, it is what it is. All this to say,
Schrodinger's dancer.
I don't know what the
Gay
fuck.
and cooking other people.
I'm going cuck a bunch of dudes tonight.
Tonight. You gonna cook up?
Damn, they're fucking throwing jabs back at Fresh and Fit again about that fucking. Oh man, but you know what? Fresh and Fit, them childish motherfuckers over there, like they kind of deserve it. I feel like they can say whatever
I
they
get
gotta
on my
say
bike,
to the motherfuckers.
I'm gonna just wheel over there, cuck, and then come back.
Sheesh.
Anyway, okay? If you guys want to see more, it's on my Instagram. Now,
What you doing, Abba? Going out there cooking?
what are you cooking tonight? Your wife.
Going out there cooking?
What's for dinner? We cooking your wife. Anyways, like I said, invest in some hobbies. Okay, I've seen too many guys who have zero hobbies. They just have their work life. They go to a bar and then go home.
That's not a hobby.
If your social
Facts.
life is struggling, get some fucking hobbies, bro. Social hobbies too.
Get into martial arts. Get into.
Yeah, people's sense of community and friendships come from these things. That's what people are lacking. It's not women coming here to do. It's like dudes gotta prioritize these things. You know, they gotta make time for their friendships. Because then all of a sudden a year goes by, you ain't seen your homies. It's like, yeah, we still homies. That's great, but you gotta invest that time. You gotta put that effort in. If you guys don't make that time to see each other, those relationships will start to fade. And while you guys are still gonna be happy to see each other, you're gonna miss on important moments each other's lives. Times you good, you could have been there. Times you could have shared when you were struggling. That times with priorities. That's not some. Yes, women do that, and that's great, but that's not something women can give to us. That's something that we
Right.
have to take for ourselves. That comes from reevaluating how we view things, valuing our families, seeing our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, whatever it is. So, what do I take away from this video? What his experience is, I understand, welcome, but I don't agree with the solution that we have to be more like women per se. I think that men just need to rearrange their priorities for sure. Sure. I think
Facts.
that's what I would do.
That's a good point.
Change those hobbies. Anything else? Nah. But anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments. We want to hear from you.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to go into a different ecosystem, but you can't change the order of things. You kind of just gotta go with it, cuz it is what it is. TG Academics, Sneeko exposes being fragile. Oh.
All that cap you been doing on motherfucking Fresh and Fit, Big
Oh,
Act
God.
is here now. That's facts. And say
Oh
something.
god, bro.
Oh my God.
Oh god.
Yo, can we stop?
You guys are
sound
rich,
so angry.
famous people, or quasi-famous people, and you only talk crazy to women.
Listen.
Like, if that's not behavior, I don't know what is.
Pop Smoke, what are you looking for? Nigga, what do you mean?
Dated nigga, what's up?
Oh, you want a man? Suck my d- man. I don't need no man.
If you're understanding, basically they're clowning on the one girl in the top right area because she got a deep voice.
Y'all
That's
been good
wild.
though? Oh, y'all what? Yeah, straight?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah. We're really good.
That's
I ain't going front. I ain't going front when you're not looking at the screen and you like lose sense of what person, like what body that voice is coming out of.
Man.
Wait, is
Yo,
that
shut the
Sneeko?
fuck up with your masculine ass voice and read the chats, yo. Get the fuck up out of here.
hold on. Wait, that was you.
Wow,
what,
bro.
Do you think your voice sound a little bit masculine or no?
Just a strong woman, and that's what it is.
Oh, you say you're just a strong, like,
Yeah, I'm speaking another language.
oh,
and that does it.
oh, okay.
It's
Now-
completely different.
I'm only bringing that up because I think on this podcast they expect, women to be a little bit,
More feminine.
be in their feminine energy type shit.
These
You don't be your
bursts,
feminine
it's killing
energy?
me.
You got a shrimp dick act.
If you're rude, I will not be nice to you.
No.
If you're cool, I'll be nice to you.
So, do you feel like, you be like in your feminine energy, like,
Feminine energy, yes, nurturing, caring.
Yeah.
Of course, for the people that I love and care.
I just want to know why your voice is that fucking deep.
Wow, bro.
Pop Smoke.
That's wild. Like they're still pressing her on
You
that.
never
No,
saw
no,
a woman with deep voice is not here.
No. I don't have no problem with it.
I don't know nothing about that lady, but she sounds Brazilian. Like that sounds like a Brazilian accent to me. Did y'all see that? That shit looked very cartoony. God damn. But no, like she sounds like she's got a very Brazilian accent. So like I've heard a lot, like shit, picture every woman you've heard with that accent. They all have like what you could consider, I guess, deepish voices. This is like late at night. They were probably out at the club. She might probably been talking loud. Her voice might be a little hoarse, and now y'all want to fucking give her all this shit about her voice. Bruh. Of all things you could be debating about, why is your voice so deep? Sneeko, you mad because your voice ain't as deep? Like, what the fuck, bro? Why y'all
I
pressing
never give
her?
a fuck about nobody that talk anything about
That's
my
wild.
voice or the way I look or anything. Like I literally don't care.
Okay. Is it your voice or your
Mustafa.
actions also kind of match your voice in terms of masculinity?
In football.
Because I'm alpha. Yeah,
Oh, you an alpha?
I'm alpha
okay.
women.
Okay.
I'm dominant. That's what it is.
No,
Just
I don't fuck with no
having
chick who
habits.
sound like a nigga. That's just 100. I'm gonna just keep it 100 with you.
Wait.
No, wait. We not waiting. Hold on.
You don't have to, because I'm not asking you to. Fuck
No. Hold on.
I don't like disrespect, and I'm come correct.
No. I'm not trying to disrespect you.
You're not trying to disrespect her.
Disrespect you.
Bruh.
I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you sound like a nigga.
If I heard Pop Smoke talking from heaven while I'm stroking,
Now, I also seem to hear, like, why does his voice sound a little bit more higher pitched than hers? And right now, he sounds like why you whining? What was it, shit. Damn, now I can't even think of his name now. Why is your voice climbing like you whining?
real rap.
What do you have to lose some weight until you can see your dick, nigga?
But she's not being disrespectful. She's
No. She's matching the energy.
Clap back. That was a
Like
clap
when you're just
back.
talking, she's not being disrespectful. So don't be mad.
I could understand.
When you were calling her a nigga,
Bro.
right? And you would say she sound like a man, like Pop Smoking and all this stuff. You weren't being disrespectful. She's not being disrespectful either, right? So we
You
good.
reap what
Academics,
you
we
sow,
fat,
right?
You know this. It's cool.
Right?
She got that.
That's wild though.
So you're saying, hold on.
You think I'm
Wait. So you're saying that if I lose some weight and I become your broke ass, bitch ass boyfriend, no? And I start fucking with a masculine bitch like you with
Bro.
fake titties, right? With a fucking tattoo on your face.
Yeah, nigga.
You're mad. You're just naming
You
me.
are
Yeah.
so mad. You,
Yeah, very bad.
man,
bro.
you guys were clowning her for a good 10, 20 minutes. She just said, by
Facts.
the way, you're fat. God, bro. You know, she said she had a husband. You keep calling her the boyfriend. Like, you're doing all this because you're mad.
You're mad. You got mad.
Facts.
And it's fine.
You guys
got
been on
big
her and
butt
she's
hurt.
just been going back at you guys with the same energy. Now you really mad.
How are you gonna be sounding?
How I'm gonna be sounding?
Yeah.
Nigga, what the fuck? Or it's different, like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, bitches like fat niggas like you, so what's the problem?
Yeah, there's people that like what I am, and it's okay. And motherfucker like, at this point,
And you know what's making her shit funny too? Is the fact that she don't care. She's like, hey man, who cares?
Who cares?
But some guys like what I got, and some like fat niggas like you.
Or it's different.
Yo,
like, you know
she
what I'm
got
saying?
no
Everybody
chill.
live-
I
it's like
respect
fat
it,
niggas
bro.
like you, so what's the problem?
This is a rich nigga like
I respect the
Really?
I bet your
fuck out of
boyfriend
It
is
that.
doesn't matter.
I bet your boyfriend never like me.
But he can't fucking
Hold on,
better
hold
than
on.
your
Oh,
wife.
Lord.
So
Did y'all just hear? I bet your boyfriend ain't rich like me. Bro, the second you gotta say a line like that, you lost. You lost. It doesn't matter how much money you got. You gotta talk like that, you lost, bro. Just stop.
He said, your boyfriend ain't a rich nigga like me. And she's like, well, yeah, but you can't fuck me like he can fuck me either. So we good.
She's this ain't fault. That's how we call that.
She don't care.
She
And
don't
this
give
guy's
a
trying to
shit.
qualify. He's not as good as
Facts.
me. He ain't as the biggest.
The thing is that he's trying to win one.
Right.
With all this shit that he threw, he's trying to get the one that's gonna get her, and it doesn't get her. And it's funny. It's funny because at the beginning of the show, she said she was alpha, and everybody clowned her because of that. And now she's like, I don't care. People like me, and he's the one doing all this rah-rah shit.
Facts.
He's trying to qualify himself to her.
So you're submitting to her. That's a whole submission, my dude. I don't even know if you noticed this.
Yes.
But in the beginning, she called herself alpha. Everybody
Yeah.
was laughing. That's fine. And now you're trying to get one. You're trying to get one that she knows, like, and she's like, I'm above this shit. Whatever. Come on, you're trying to reach to my
Motherfucker.
level. Fine. And then you're doing all this rah rah shit. So
We better than you niggas, right?
as much as you trying to clown her and everything, she won.
She won because you're trying to prove yourself to her.
So you're
you're
being
saying I'm better than your boyfriend. I'm richer. She's like, she don't care because she's good, right? It's like if I got a girl, some girls say I'm better looking than your girl. No, I don't care. I'm good with my girlfriend. Who cares? You look stupid trying to tell
Right.
me that you're better than my. I don't care. So I'm watching this and it's funny to me because y'all was clowning her just like Rita for being alpha. Turns out in this room, she is way more than y'all.
But I bet you live in a fucking Section 8 housing, and I live in a fucking mansion with.
Oh my God,
Oh
bro.
my God, you still unhappy. If you wasn't unhappy, you wasn't being aggressive and being rude.
She said you're still unhappy. 'Cause
Bad.
if you wasn't unhappy, you wouldn't be this aggressive and rude.
And I'm not.
She cooking, bro. She cooking.
You're validating someone that nobody fucking knows. You try to validate yourself to a nobody. And I'm not clowning this girl saying that she's nobody, but nobody knows her, and it's fine. Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm just the one that doesn't know you, which is fine.
She's a what?
Which is fine.
Popular.
Oh,
Oh,
she
she
is?
is popular.
Okay, then I'm just the one that doesn't know you, which is fine.
Yeah.
Which is
I
fine.
don't know.
But you still trying to match that, like you just. And when she said you're the one that's unhappy, maybe you can claim that you're happy, but someone that would be happy and content with whatever the fuck they have wouldn't have to prove. Yeah, but this shit is over. It's done with. She doesn't
he
give a
lost
fuck. It's
that
a
a
wrap.
long
Wrap
time
it
ago.
up. You know what I mean?
Listen,
But
if
you don't.
if you gotta run around and say, I got money, I got subscribers, I got a Bugatti. If you gotta feel the need to go say,
that's whack.
that's what I'm saying.
But it's worse when, well, I got more money than you. I got you, because this is just, I'm just showing out I got money. Now you're trying to put other motherfuckers down just to prove a point. You understand what I'm
I
saying?
mean, you unhappy.
Facts.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with me. It's like, if someone comes to me, it's like, yo, I got more money. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm good.
Shit.
I'm a billionaire.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Why do you feel the need to come tell me you have so much more when I don't care? That tells me that you're a loser.
Look
on
for the next
inside.
one while I'm
Even though you might be
watching
winning in
this.
these lives, how you look at yourself, the way that you internally view yourself, it's like, I am a bit of a loser.
Shit, maybe she is alpha. Fuck.
So all this rah-rah, all this need to get drunk and do all this wild stuff is evidence that you're a loser. Fresh. My man's 28 going on 80, and I don't want that to be you guys. And that's why today's sponsor, T.H. Henley's coming in to save the day. I get for a lot of little you're all the and then the stars of T.H. You go to actually.
My problem, let it stop.
I love this. You said
You
what?
unhappy, baby. Like you got to stop like be acting like weird because
No,
you're just unhappy.
No,
it's not my problem if you unhappy. Like I'm very
Why you think
happy
I'm
with my
unhappy?
life
What do you think I'm happy?
because you do that. Like being
No,
weird.
Just listen to
I'm
you,
asking
bro.
you a question. You sound like.
fuck
Hold
you.
on. Relax. Relax, Trevor. Your man ain't here. And he couldn't afford to get in this building, okay?
Oh my God.
Really, bro?
Yo, can we stop?
He couldn't afford to
That
get in
is
this
so
building.
cringe,
what a loser,
bro.
What a loser.
So
you couldn't afford to get in this
cringe.
club. That's how much money we got. First off, I've been in that building. It's not that impressive. Okay,
Can
it's
we
fine.
stop?
But to the same
He
time,
said
like,
it's
ugh.
fine. Like that
the
is
people
so
who brag about
cringe,
money
though.
like this in an argument are the biggest losers. Yeah, but I make more bands than you. Okay.
That was bad shit.
Okay. Yeah. I got a bigger dick than your. And you didn't notice? Look at the other guys at this panel. This dude's burying his head in his hand, right? This guy looks like he's completely disinterested. Even
Yup.
Sneeko's doing the cringe face.
I'm asking you, who's the disrespectful?
It's man disrespectful, boy. You been disrespectful.
Stop playing.
Wow,
Stop,
bro.
yo, my nigga done fuck you, nigga, like in the Airbnb. Get the fuck on
Actually, you should know enough to know he's fucking
So now, because DJ Bitch Boy over here is all upsetty spaghetti, and this other random girl, he's not even talking to her, calls him out and say, yo, you being mad disrespectful, and now he wants to try and like treat her any kind of way, bro. He's like bugging, bro. Bugging. Yo, he looked drunk as fuck right there.
Just lame niggas.
He looked so fucking drunk right there, bro. Like he had way too much, and he's just like belligerent, off the wall, say whatever the fuck come out in his brain.
Facts, nigga.
You not, nigga.
Let somebody say something. I'm talking facts, nigga.
Look at the just like Abba said. Look at them dudes.
Nigga, that I pay, nigga. That I pay the whole money. Don't come over here talking that shit. All that cap.
That sounds very familiar.
We are better than you niggas. Period.
You out here doing some kissing and telling? Your niggas kissing and telling?
Right.
She says that's disrespectful. It's like, well, I know who you fucked.
You're kissing and telling on your
What the
homie
fuck
shit.
am I even watching? Are you doing
Like,
some
that's
gossipy
some
bullshit where you're talking about who slept
That's
with
some
who?
lame nigga shit right
Because
there,
she said
bro.
what you said
That's
on air
lame.
is disrespectful? What are we watching?
Bro, I clocked out.
All that cap you been doing on all motherfucking Fresh and Fit. Big Ack is here now.
Oh, motherfucker.
What the fuck is going on? Hey, bro.
Yo, what is up
This
with
dude
these
is
like red
on.
pill alpha dudes who seem to have so much energy when they deal with these ladies?
Facts.
You know, cringe, bro.
You know what it is?
I wish you would have said that to a dude talking the same way to a big dude. I wish you
would have said that
Then I might
in
take you
front of
seriously. Because I
somebody
remember when
like
these guys
me,
had
like,
Kodak
bro,
Black on and he was
I
being
would
all
have been
kinds of
said something to
disrespectful.
Act.
None of these dudes checked a single one of them. They didn't check Kodak. They didn't check none of these guys. Why? You wanna know what I noticed? And this is what makes me lose the respect for a lot of these guys. Is they only have this energy for people that are weaker. They will never say any of this stuff to dudes that are bigger, stronger to them. They'll never say dudes stuff that got way more clout than them and can actually influence them negatively, right?
Right.
Even if they vehemently disagree on the principle, they start sucking dick and keeping quiet.
Real
Because
fast.
The moment it's a woman where they have nothing to lose and everything to gain by being disrespectful, they don't just be they go the extra mile. But you know, maybe it's just where I came from. You're generally judged by how you behave when you have power. That's it. You want to test a man's character, give him power, put him in front of the powerless, and see how they act. This one was just here. She had a deep voice, and motherfuckers were on her case.
For
They were asking her all
real,
kinds
though.
of private questions, and she was still. And then when they were insulting her, and then she said one word back, they tripled, quadrupled that.
Him. Yeah, exactly.
this is?
It was just one dude doing all that.
This is Alonzo Harris.
Well, two, I should say.
You know who Alonzo Harris is?
But
It's
Sneeko
Denzel
seemed to
Washington's
stop
character
after a
in
while.
Training Day.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
He's all calm, cool, calm, and collected. When's the one time that he was yelling? When's the one time that he was yelling? At the end of the movie when he lost everything. When now he's trying to King Kong ain't got. When they start yelling, that's when they all losing power and trying to regain that power. That's what it is. Why are you screaming like that? Why?
Exactly.
She's not
Ain't
even
nobody
screaming,
yelling,
and one
nobody
girl
raising
said
their voice.
it's disrespectful. Not even yelling. Why are you yelling?
Big Ack is. Shut the fuck up. Everybody's seen you pussy out in front of a bunch of rappers and people who checked you.
You know what?
I remember when Migos came on the set when you were Joe Budden and you were there like a child looking for his papa at the fucking state fair because you got separated. Like, don't act big on these platforms because you're talking to a random nobody. That's loser shit. It is, but maybe y'all feel different. I just think it's funny. Like,
that was loser shit.
We're doing a lot of this preaching and a lot of this stuff about like, you know, this is the prescriptions I have for the world. This is how guys gotta behave and all this stuff. And you realize they face a bit of adversity. You give them a bit of power, and they turn into tyrants or losers, right? Who can't even hold frame. You got a woman who's way more alpha than any of these dudes combined, who's chilling. You got more money? Cool. You got a bigger? Cool. I'm happy with my children and my husband. So what?
Big Ack is here now.
Big Ack is in the bill.
Who
Who are you talking to? If you want to be hard, go do it in the right places, but you won't because you a coward. You know.
Facts.
My nigga fucked the shit up. Yo, the nigga gave you a fucking rose and he fucked the shit out of you. That's facts. And say somebody. Say somebody. That's why you on camera. Facts. That's why you on camera. Get on camera. We can talk about it. Get on camera. We talk about it. I'll FaceTime my nigga right now. So we can FaceTime my nigga. Yo, nigga say you had to lose his. He fucked in 10 years, nigga. Get on camera and talk about it.
Wow.
Won't talk about it.
Wow.
Is he coming back? I don't think so. Where my phone?
Wow.
All right, fresh. Exactly. Okay, so hold on. We not done. This nigga ain't kicking. We not done.
That nigga want to turn it off.
We not done. Stinko, you see when you on the show? Learn from Big Act.
Yeah, I could see your pubes
Learn
through your
from
panties
Big
right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Act,
Like the light
Shorty.
showing. I don't know how you fit on a plane with that BBL and your boobs are bumping into the mic, but I legitimately no, like not even.
That is the most childish fucking argument I have ever heard in my life.
You, like, I can see your pole bush through your pants.
Yo, Stinko, take no disrespect.
I can't. Like right now, I can see.
Real shit, what the fuck's going on right now?
Okay.
And the guy beside him is just like, bruh, what are we doing right now? What are we doing right now? He's like, I didn't sign up for this bullshit.
The
And
first
shout out to him.
voice of reason.
Whoever's doing the milk, he's the only one who's like, yo, this is weird.
We're gonna end
The
this show.
only one.
Guys,
Nigga, it's something weird, bro.
I'm just saying, like it's very visible. It's like in front of my face.
stop it. Yo, we don't take no disrespect lightly here. Period.
Oh my god.
If you're willing to give disrespect, you have to be willing to take it.
Bitch.
That's
That was the
the
last kill.
only thing. It's not because you say no disrespect that it's not disrespectful. Okay? You've been doing none but that. And the minute one person says one thing, you take it like that, bro. You can't be like, we don't take no disrespect, then don't disrespect. If you don't want to start nothing, there won't be nothing. And you started, and then she matched your energy just a bit.
Talking all that bullshit, y'all can lie to Myron. This Big Act in the building, nigga. Shorty.
That's bullshit.
Shorty. Realize where you at. Realize where you at. Realize where you at. Nigga, I don't play like that.
I never heard about you. I'm sorry.
Bitch, we never heard about you.
Yeah.
You a masculine looking bitch with a face tag, nigga, and some fake titties, my nigga. We think you a nigga.
And
To keep it real, we need a DNA
No,
test, bitch.
some real shit. What's going on right now? What is niggas doing right now?
Yeah.
What's
So
the point of this
so-
shit?
nigga.
why is that
No, she
why the
don't.
LGBT
No, she don't.
community to
We
cancel
think
this
you a
nigga?
Chris.
Why
Hold
the
on.
LGBT community to cancel
Y'all
him
niggas
like
off the chain right now,
they
bro.
did?
Oh,
This shit is
Yeah.
Yo, finally, at least that dude is saying something, bro. Cause like it is sad that fucking weirdo right here in the front that's supposed to be fresh, Walter, Sneeko, and then the other bald dude. 3 other grown men listening to DJ Ack over here doing whatever the fuck he doing. And those are just the ones on camera. There's other motherfuckers off camera. As a grown man, you listening to this conversation, you don't think something's wrong with this? Something needs to be like, yo, why the fuck? Can we chill the fuck out? Why are we going at this angle? Why are we going so hard on this? Like, finally, this one person finally said something.
What's up,
LGBTQ community will only jump.
Fucking ridiculous.
Nah, she's not about that. The dude went up and he went back to the girl because he wasn't going to talk to the man.
Yup.
He just kept going at her the whole time and tried to ignore him because he's not going to have that same energy for her. He's a pussy. They're pussies. Here's the thing. I don't talk crazy.
I mean,
one, I'm not that person, and two, you catch me in person, I'm genuinely respectful and cool. That's how I am. I don't act different. I don't act all brand new. I don't see fans to be like, nigga, you know what it is. I don't see. That's corny.
Right.
People who act differently based on what circles they're at or how they're like in this drastic change, you look corny to me. You look corny to me. Look, hey, listen, people keep whatever friends they want. I think it's bad for the show because that whole thing looked like a hot mess, but hey, I don't know. It's just.
There's people that like that. It's that thing. No, what I mean by that is that people like that show you.
How did you know I was there, bro?
I think the people that are watching that for that. This is Jerry Springer's. This is the new era of Maury. This is what it is.
The audience doesn't like it. The audience is all against this episode.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why.
Really? I didn't. You know what? Then I'm gonna give it to you. I'm really sorry. I really thought that because I really thought that motherfuckers was looking at that. They were looking at that show for that kind of stuff. Women being like Frank Castle and stuff like that, and people.
Well, they definitely look for some of that for sure.
Yeah. So that's why like I was under the impression that people look at that show for that, which is fine. Everybody got that entertainment. You know what I mean? And that's fine. That's good. You know. So that's why I said that comment. I'm like, yeah, motherfuckers like that. Maybe they don't. That was weird. I would never want to be in that spot. I don't envy nobody that was on that spot. Cause that was weird. That was super weird.
Damn, bro. Like
even the people that were there were like, yo, this ain't it. This ain't it. But
yeah,
that's what I think people in the online world keep weird friends.
Yeah.
I think people keep weird friends. That's why I look at a lot of these people sus. And I'm like, is that how you act? Okay. I gotta keep my distance. Because I don't associate with that kind of stuff, and you look fucking goofy. In the real world, most folks would get slapped up for this behavior. What you doing? Like, you think I'd be in my neighborhood talking to somebody's wife that way?
Right.
What are you? I don't know where y'all from, but that's a crazy way to talk to people.
Exactly.
And it's expecting to be okay. So I don't get to this position where I'm at now, and all of a sudden act brand new. I don't even have it in me. I don't understand this stuff. This is the kind of like. So if these are the people you take your cues from, okay. But I look at them like they're sus. That's me personally. I don't know what it is, but ever since I joined this online world, I've noticed a lot of people who say a lot of goofy stuff that I feel like they would never say to anybody in person.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't stand on any of their stuff, but they get in front of these cameras, and all of a sudden the way that they talk is completely different.
We have the proof of that. You know, you meet.
Damn.
Sometimes you meet some friends that were talking crazy. We were going back and forth when you finally meet them. This city is real small. And they all nice. No, but what I meant was, you said what you said. Now I'm here. And it's not, I was not looking for you. It's sort of happening. Oh,
what the
dude
fuck?
That was fucking talking crazy.
God damn.
What were you about to? I'm right here. What were you about to do? No, but what I meant was, that's not what you meant. Stop doing that shit. That shit is fucking whack. But people are like that.
Yeah.
Facebook gangsters are social media gangsters. They a lot of people do talk crazy.
And you guys are only talking crazy to win. You guys are rich, famous people or quasi-famous people, and you only talk crazy to win. Like, if that's not bitch behavior, I don't know what is. You made fun of her for 5 minutes because she got a deep voice.
She said one thing, you went off.
But no, you made fun before she even did that. You guys were clowning her because she got a deep voice. Who cares? Imagine a group of girls just sitting there laughing at a dude in a circle because he's 5 foot tall. I'd call them fucking losers too. This is no different. And all these dudes who are out here trying to give young men advice on how to live life now, go clean your rooms. Jordan Peterson says it. You guys fixing other dudes, you need to clean your own lives up. You guys need some therapy. You need to figure out what's wrong with your anger issues or your fucking insecurities where you guys are just lashing out at people because they made one comment about your weight. Or they said, you seem a little scrawny. Yo, who cares? If you can't control your anger and your behavior because someone made one comment, you need help.
After you did all that?
After you talk as much shit about other people, after you guys are clowning all these people, they make one comment, you guys sitting there, get some help.
Facts.
Get some help. Y'all need that shit. Because when she said you guys seem unhappy, what happy person goes around screaming at people aggressively?
For that?
Trying to prove themselves to strangers.
You touched the cord.
To strangers.
You touched the cord.
What the fuck I care about some random bitch thinking about me?
Bing, 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 bing. You touched that, and she was right.
These are the ones that the alphas tell
Bro,
you to
she
hold
was
your frame.
tap dancing
Never let her
on
get
my
you off
fucking
kilter.
nerves, bro.
You're fat.
That's why they were getting so
I'm better than you
salty.
niggas. Okay.
Damn.
Okay.
That girl was right all along.
Okay.
All right, we are currently live right now, so we're with everyone here on YouTube, and we have a special guest today. We have Kevin Samuels in the building. For a lot of our audience, some of you may not know who Kevin Samuels is, so Kevin, I figured I'd just give you a chance. You prefer me to just go by the first name?
Oh, what was this?
Yeah,
2 years ago?
All right. Yeah, if you could just give a brief introduction, because some.
Yeah, that's a long video. I don't feel like doing 2 hours.
Today's topic. I was on the Fresh and Fit podcast. We do this after-hour show where they invite a bunch of women and they discuss a bunch of topics. Pretty much every girl wanted a rich man on this thing. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
I want to ask a question. Just show of hands, who here? Because I feel like this conversation is going in interesting places, but I don't think it's necessary. Who here dislikes extreme arrogance? You have to raise your hand. Everyone raised their hand. Okay. So I'm going to ask another question. Why is it that all you ladies who dislike arrogance and like humbleness want a life that is so extra and lavish? You want 6-figure man, you want a high value man and doing all this stuff. Why is it that everyone pretends like they hate arrogance, but then their standards are like, if we're being very honest, there's about 10 of you here, maybe 2 or 3 of you at best will get with a guy who makes 6 figures or more, because it's such a small percentage. By the numbers, it's probably impossible for all of you to get that.
Did you see those 2 girls go, "It's me"?
Definitely. Just because of that, it's not.
they just went right over their head. Everyone, and that's the point.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're the exception.
Yep, absolutely.
So there is a bit of like an arrogance to that, where it's like, if you love humbleness so much, why don't you live a humble life? What's wrong with getting with a regular dude who's got a 401k, he makes $40K a year, maybe he's home at the end of the day, he takes care of the bills, you guys got a nice little house in the suburbs. Why is that not enough? I don't understand why there's all this talk about like, would I let my high value man cheat? I'm gonna be honest with y'all, most of y'all not gonna get one. And that's not me trying to be mean. It's like there's such a small percentage.
See, in Fresh and Fit there, like they're sitting there laughing like he's trying to make a joke, but it's just a realistic statement. Like on their own podcast, these motherfuckers sit there and talk about that same exact thing, that ladies, there's not enough high value men out there. She's delusional. Pull out the delusional calculator. So come on, bro. Like, don't sit there and laugh. Like, he's actually trying to have a real serious conversation, and then these motherfuckers are just laughing like, yeah, see, I knew it. They be saying so stupid shit. So counterproductive. So counterproductive.
You think I'm going to get a 9 out of 10? Like, I mean, potentially it's possible, but it's not likely for most men out there. So if most men were sitting around a table, I want a 9 out of 10. I'm like, nigga, you are not going to get one. Go for a 6 or a 5 because it's probably more likely for you. So I think it's interesting that we constantly talk about high value men. It's not going to happen. So what's wrong with just regular dudes for most people? That's what I don't understand.
There is actually nothing wrong with regular dudes. And actually, when you say arrogance, I think that's a personality trait. So a person that is arrogant is always talking about what they have. And, you know, you could have a lot and still be humble.
Exactly.
Does not mean that you are arrogant for having a lot. That just means that you have a good safety network.
Characterized by a feeling of superiority, self-importance, or entitlement. And this is entitlement in its purest form. If you love humbleness so much, why don't you live a humble life? Get yourself a home, have some kids, enjoy yourself. Everybody seems to want luxury. And there's a weird thing there. And I don't get it. This is why I come on with my dusty clothes. This is why I travel economy. This is why I don't spend like crazy. It's like, I don't need much. I don't live my life lavishly.
I'm fine with just a humble life. If I made 40K a year doing YouTube, bro, you know me.
What the?
I've been the same. I'm good with it.
Point blank.
So
like
it's
that,
crazy to me that these
dead.
women who don't seemingly have that much to offer from the stuff that they said during the podcast are so entitled to all this money and like the top 1% and all this stuff. You haven't earned it, and by the numbers, you're probably not gonna get it. So what's wrong? If you hate arrogance so much, you hate entitlement, what's wrong with not recognizing your own sense of entitlement? Something that's interesting too is like, this is a very American-centric idea. I see a lot of people hit me up and like, man, all women are like that. But in the States, these kinds of ideas are very pervasive. Trust me, I've traveled the world. I've seen the differences in what people's dating standards are. So when we're over here talking, this is a very North American-centric type of issue, and it's exacerbated in major cities across America. Talk to people down there. A lot of people have these kind of goofy rhetoric. Very nonsensical. Insane standards based off of wanting to live their life like it's an Instagram filter. You feel me? So I'm
Every
always
woman wants
thinking
that.
when I see this kind of
They
stuff,
gotta have something
do
they
not
can
take
brag
your
about
cues from
to
women
make
like
other
this.
people jealous.
Don't.
It's
Because what they're
tension-driven,
encouraging
like,
you to do
it's the world
is
we
to
are
seek
now.
out luxury, to seek out excess, whether it's plastic surgery to make your ass and your titties bigger, okay? Whether it's amounts of monies because it's going to make you happy, whether it's spending a lot, drinking a lot, doing lots of anything. When people try to sell you on excess, understand it's a pipe dream. The greatest things that you're going to enjoy in your life are going to be from things that don't even seem that tangible. From the struggles that you share with the people that you love and that you come through on the other side. That's what's going to deepen your bond. What's going to make you feel rooted and connected. These YouTube numbers don't mean shit to me. But when I get DMs from people saying, yo, this pandemic is tough and y'all helping me get through it, that's something that means a lot. When I see someone in the street and they're like, bruv, I've never had any form of male guidance, but what you said in regards to treating some ladies with respect, to valuing myself and my own autonomy, that means something. All this talk of six-figure man, if you need opulence to be happy, my friend, you are building a castle on sand. And so when I came on this podcast, I'll be honest with you, this is my honest opinion. I wouldn't lie to the guys, and I'll be honest with you guys. I was disappointed, and it's like, it was an interesting conversation because a lot of these ladies didn't know what they was talking about when they were having this. No fault to them. I didn't think they were brought here for that, but they certainly didn't make themselves look great. And I came out of it, and I had to be stern with some of them because I'm like, all this talk that you guys are doing is based in your own form of selfishness. There was no talk of community. There was no talk of why you wanted to get married. There was no talk of like what you wanted to give. Everything was about what I can receive. Right? Everything was like, well, I don't want to change my standards. I don't want to do this for me. But what about what you could bring to other people? You feel me? And that's always what I'm thinking when I'm having these conversations, and that's why I wanted to give them that disclaimer. So I guess what I want to kind of wrap up my whole commentary on this is, I hope people at home, in their moments of feeling slightly empty or inadequate with their life, don't look to these Instagram lifestyles or these people like this who pretend to be happy and think if you emulate that, you'll be like that as well. All this need to inject your asses and your titties, all this stuff to do all this extra, it won't make you feel fulfilled, right? It's great marketing, fantastic marketing, great for sales. They've done a wonderful job of getting in people's heads. But do not mistake that with building self-esteem. And so that's pretty much I would say.
And women are attracted to safety network, but does not mean that you are arrogant. So when I raise my hand, it's because we don't like a personality that is like, oh, because, you know, like, I have a $10,000 million yacht and blah, 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 and I have strippers with me all the time and blah, blah, blah.
Here's what the man's saying that she thinks is arrogant. I have a yacht and I like strippers and I like all this stuff. And your sentence is, I want a yacht, I want 100K, I want to live complete security, I want excess. It's the same thing.
One is talking about it and one wants it.
Stop.
Same.
I hate the way they reframe this stuff, where men are always to be shamed for this behavior, but you're just living your best life. You're what you deserve. It's the same thing.
Same behavior.
Of course, nobody's going to like that. turn so that's a personality trait.
Well, why
when
do you
talk about safety networks, and of course, a woman is going to be attracted to a man that is like, oh, here I am safe. Biologically, they're going to be attracted to it.
You're going to be safe at 40K if he's got a stable job, a pension, and everything like that. The truth is, the only thing that changes between 40K and 100K is not happiness. There's not a single study that replicates the idea that the more money he has, that you guys are going to live a happier life.
To be clear, this is a combined income of around 70. I'm at 40K for one person, provided that both people are working. Once you, and the studies have replicated this a numerous amount of times, once you hit about 75 to 80K combined income, it's not like you get exponentially happier. So when she's talking about, I need safety net, no, you don't. It's not safety you're looking for, it's luxury. And it's okay to admit it. Don't act like you need a 10-carat ring on your finger and on your neck because of security. It's not that.
Now, that part I will disagree with there, because, you know, you do the 80K a year nowadays in North America, like, doesn't really cut it in a lot of places. Like, you can live, but you're gonna be struggling. You're gonna be paycheck to paycheck. You're gonna be not comfortable. And so that's why I think the women's side of it, you know, asking for 6-figure salary and blah blah blah, it makes sense to me, because 80K combined income is not enough. Realistically, if both parties are working, you need to have a combined income of at least 100, in my opinion. A combined, if you're doing it that way. But we're also looking at the red pill spaces. So a big talking point for those spaces is they want a traditional woman. They want a woman who just cooks, cleans, stay home, blase, blase. They don't want her to work. So if you're trying to bring them into that type of environment, you do gotta help take care of it. So if you can't have a combined income of 100,000, then brother, you better have yo 100,000 if you're expecting her not to work and all that. So to me, like that ask of like, I want a guy who makes 6 figures. Granted, everybody wants the top of the top. Now, are they willing to compromise and say, well, I'm working right now, I make 40, this man's working, he makes 50, 60, even better, perfect? Or is she gonna just like totally shun that guy? And that's where the problem is. And I think that's why they have these conversations, is because these women who are working 40, 50, even $60,000 a year jobs, they're, I mean, shit, every woman is always going to want a man who makes more than them. Like, that's pretty consistent across the board. So if they're making 40, you got to be making more than them. So now that just pushes that pole up. So to me, the dollar amount isn't necessarily the problem. I think the argument he's trying to make is the excess part, that you got to have excess, because some of these women who have been on these interviews are talking about they need 6 figures or more. And that's excessive. I'm live right now. What? So that makes that's a big difference in this topic, because it's like, to be 100,000 or so, that's to be comfortable. But when somebody's saying, I need a man who's making $1 million a year, and I mean, they've been on the same podcast, the Fresh and Fit podcast, saying these same things, then that's the excess. That's very excessive. But for a woman who's not planning, like, if you're thinking this woman is going into this relationship not working, for her to ask for a man who makes 6 figures isn't too far-fetched. It's rare. She might not get it because money's hard that nowadays, like, so there's that double-edged sword. But at the same time, it's not all bad for them to want that request for the sake of the family, for the sake of comfortability in life. It makes sense.
It's luxury. And people are coming out here and trying to paint their wants and desires as like the basic necessities a woman wants. No, No. These are not needs. These are just desires. And it's okay to admit that.
That you guys are necessarily going to be any better off.
Definitely.
In terms of financial security, what matters is stability. At $40K a year, if you live in a half decent area where it's not Los Angeles downtown, you're going to be fine. Your kids are going to have hobbies that they can pay for. So what is this obsession that y'all have with dudes who make so much money? It's unnecessary, and it's by the definition not humble.
I want a man who's ambitious. Would you date a plumber? No. Why not? Plumbers are ambitious. Their salary raises very well. No. And there's like a disgust for blue-collar men or men who work hard, have regular 9-to-5 jobs, as if they're lesser than. This obsession with entrepreneurship is gross in a lot of ways.
Let's be honest. If you know anything about the world, a plumber makes bank.
Yeah, but he's employed, so fuck it.
Exactly.
I want to ask you, you were a registered nurse, correct?
Yeah.
Have you seen people die by themselves?
Yes. Too many.
What's
So
that
sad.
like?
Terrible. Miserable.
And you also have to acknowledge more people are going to be dying alone today than they ever have before, and that's only increasing. So I think there has to be a very sensible discussion about like what are we condemning people to when we're saying all this stuff? Because it sounds great in theory, never settle, go for what you want, etc., etc. But the alternative for a lot of women is going to, it might be work out for you, but 3 other women who heard your advice who probably shouldn't have taken it, or they might end up dying alone
With cats and dogs.
and you're not going to be there for them when that happens. So I think we have to be sensible with stuff that we say, because I get it. It sounds great in theory, and look, it might work for you, but for the people who are dying alone, I'm like, whoo, that's not a way I want to die.
Yeah, I want to kind of just touch on that. What did you think?
What do I think about that? It's a fact. It's really a fact. People want to be like, hey, I want to be strong. I want to be this. I want to be that. I don't need this. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. You know, what was her name? Lonnie? What was her name?
Lonnie Love?
Yeah.
Yep.
She was the first one to be like, I don't need this. I don't need that.
Let me tell you something. You don't. You can have your own. We have our own. I am self-sufficient.
You got your
I
own
don't
what?
need a man. I don't need a man. But guess what? I want you, and that's the difference.
And then she was the first one crying. I just found, and there's so many of us.
It's not about him being better. He's still a man. Yeah. But it's the loyalty that I like. Oh. You know what I mean? It's like I can leave. Oh. And he's there for me. So many of our sisters are so lonely. Yeah. And they don't want to admit it. And all they got to do is just take a chance. So
Yeah, I remember that. She was all talking about like independent, don't need a man. Then she found one, and she's like, I didn't know how much I needed that in my life. And it's just like life is humbling. It's okay to admit that we need to lean on each other. And this idea that I could do all bad by myself, it's not true. Humans are so.
I didn't know that I needed my dad to tell me he loved me. When that shit happened, that shit hits.
Yeah.
I didn't know I needed that.
Yep.
Woo! Woo!
When I get up here and say this stuff, it's not misogyny. It's not me trying to be here like, yo, women, I hope you guys stay miserable. It's nothing like that. You know, like.
We're not miserable.
You're not. You're how old?
I'm 23.
Exactly. Okay. They're depressed and super
A lot of
sad.
men too.
A lot. Okay.
Do you see how smug this person's being here? Like when she says a lot of men too. Sure. It's not a good thing. It's not great that men are suffering equally.
It's exactly the argument of, yeah, black people are dying at the end of the cops. White people too.
That doesn't make it better.
And it's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing.
So I'm trying to have this conversation about like, yo, we got an issue that's rising, and these people seem content and glad that men are dying just as much.
So the issue that I'm having with this discussion is like, I think it's fine for everyone to talk like this and esoterically, but we do have a crisis, right? We do have an issue with a lot of people who are very likely to die alone, who are basically getting in their own way with some of these ridiculous standards, and they face a lifetime of loneliness. So we can get up here and we can be saying all this stuff and it sounds cute, but I'm a pragmatic person. I think about what's good for society and what's good for communities. And so when I see so many people who are being left behind, to me, it just sounds so sad. And when I hear you guys talk about all these stuff and these ridiculous, it just perpetuates this idea. It's not making us form good communities. So I hope you guys rethink some of these ideas, because even though it may work for you and it may be fine for you, you got 3 other girlfriends down the street who are going to die alone. Damn. And that's where it's sad.
I can't have a conversation with someone that doesn't really know what they're talking about. I can't have if I would really want to have something that is genuine and I want to have like a conversation that is genuine, it's no point talking to someone that's not going to listen. There's no point with talking with someone that's just going to be like, Yeah, you know, that's shallow. And then it's gonna always try to redefine and rehash or redo the definition of what I'm trying to say to fit their narrative and make them look all right and make what they said sound good. I can't have a conversation like that. I can't. It's not that I can't have it. It's really just that it's not worth it. We're just going round and round and talking a whole bunch of semantics. You know what I mean? It's shallow. No, but what's shallow is it.
You know, I think there's this assumption that if you don't have luxury, that you're going to live like a life of unhappiness. And you know what most kids who grew up with not too much will tell you? Kids from the 90s, 80s will tell you. When you didn't have that many toys, but you went to the community, to the park to play with other kids, that was some of the best time of your life.
It was dope as fuck.
Y'all would invent games with your imagination. You didn't need a bunch of toys. You didn't need a bunch of anything. It was you and the people out there in the community, and y'all had a great time. The best times playing cops and robbers in my neighborhood, running through garages trying to find them off, going to the pool when everyone else went. That came from people coming together. You know what I'm saying?
We would hide from cars for hours at a time.
Kids from the rich neighborhoods.
And we'd have to run and hide until they packed. For hours.
Kids from the rich neighborhoods would come down to play with us because we was having the best time. They might have had the super soakers, but we was the ones who was out there doing what's super, you feel me? So we was having a great time. And as I get older, I think like everyone thinks it's all luxury and all this stuff. And maybe it's because I've lived a humble life. Maybe it's because I've found like peace with myself and happiness in moments where I had very little. So I was like, I can replicate this at any point. You know, after you have food in your belly, your rent's taken care of, and you got a little bit of savings, and you got your car, whatever, how much more money do you need?
The rest is extra.
You know what I'm saying? So this is, again, I'll say this again. People are watching all over the world. This is very American-centric. Maybe you'll find this in Latin America and some other countries, you know. But it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. And I hope you guys don't reach for it because there's so much more out there for you. And the best part is it's accessible. It just takes work. It takes labor. What they want is a free ride. They want a free ride. They want all the benefits of luxury without any putting in the work. You know why guys who make a lot of money enjoy it? It's because of the work that they put in to be able to get that reward. These ladies just want to show up to a marriage and live the best life and think they're going to reap all the benefits. No, you got to put in that effort. To be given everything in life without working for it is not rewarding. You know what I'm saying? So,
but Abba, they're not going to be shooting with you in the gym, bro. Like, that's the other side. Like, it's nice to say, like, I want my girl to know and be appreciative and be there from the day one, but like, that's not always going to happen. Women have their own survival strategy, you know, and like, you just got to play the hands you're dealt and deal with it in a way. But once again, I don't think it's necessarily negative for them to approach, for women approaching dating the way they do. However, I feel like between the way men handle it and women handle it, we keep going back and forth, and it's just making shit worse. That's what we need to work about.
So don't buy into this pipe cheap. I'm telling you, man, when you work day in, day out, and you raise a child, you see them grow, you see your legacy build, you have your home and it expands, you got your family, they look after you. There's a rewarding to that. So let's not denigrate people who don't make that much money. Let's not look at it like it's a life not worth living. And let's stop glorifying luxury. Just, ugh. I don't like it. It really left like a gross taste in my mouth. And that's why I really didn't chat with the ladies there afterwards, because I'm like, y'all not my vibe at all. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, denigrate you guys, but at the same time, in terms of values, we're not even on the same page.
But I sure hope that you find whatever you're looking for.
You won't. Yeah. You won't. Some of you definitely won't.
And you know what I'm talking, like, you know me, like the same way that you said I know you know me. I like my luxury. I like my things. I like my toys. I like my alcohol. Good alcohol. I like my good things. I don't show it, and I enjoy it the most just because, like you said, when you said people have that because they work for it, that's like my reward. It's like my I'm able to enjoy this, but I don't put it out there because one of the reasons why I don't put it out there on social media, you don't see none of my toys, you don't see none of what I drink or none of what I have. because of course it's social media. You decided to not engage in social media. I have social media, but I don't necessarily want. I know that people are looking up to me, and I don't want to have them being on the impression that that's the reason why I'm happy. I was choosing the happy life before I got there. I chose that path before we hit whatever we're hitting and stuff like that. I was in that direction because I was actually starting to do what I truly wanted to do. When you said to me and you would be on me and be like, yo, you know what? You need to stop. You need to quit your day job and do this thing 100 or else you're not going to do it. And when I finally said, you know what? F it. I mean, just do it. And I did it. And I started to see the fruits of that just in my accomplishment. That was the happiness.
Yeah.
The rest is extra.
Yeah, you don't need $100,000 to enjoy those tiny little luxuries.
I don't need it. It sure helps me. It sure helps me enjoy it, but I don't. It's not a need.
When you're making $60K and your wife's making $60K, you get to enjoy that cigar when you want to. You get to enjoy that alcohol when you want to. You don't need a yacht to live your best life.
It's the thing that my girl at that point was making more than that, and I was really making less than that. So I know what you're saying. I just wanted a level to take a lot of weight off her shoulder and, sort of pay it back or whatever. Whatnot. But other than that, what you're saying about the 40K, yes, it's very viable. What has changed is not the happiness. I'm happy about the accomplishment. We're doing the same things we were doing before.
Yep.
We were.
Yep.
And we will as well.
Yep.
What changed was really the luxury change.
Yep.
But it's not a need.
It's definitely not a need. It's definitely not.
We had to build the happiness before that.
Yep. You had to build the happiness before that.
I hate
and I also
it,
think there's
'cause I
also
can't
something to
see
be said about
shit in
the
the
fact
dark.
that you not only did you have to build the happiness before that, but you also coming into it needed to not get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
I needed that maturity to not get lost in the sauce.
That made no sense.
Oh yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying.
I needed that maturity, and probably the reason why I'm super happy that it's happening now and not before. Not when I was 19, young and dumb, and I was thinking like these women. I was wilding. I would have been wilding. I wasn't because I couldn't. And now I got the maturity to be like, yeah, I got this, but let me just. I don't need to boast about it. I don't need to, whatever, whatnot.
A não ser a vontade de te encontrar, o motivo já nem sei. Nem que seja só para estar ao seu lado, só pra ler no seu rosto uma mensagem de amor. Uma mensagem de amor.
What do you guys think about feminism? Like, in your guys' opinion?
What is feminism? Why don't you tell us what you think that is? It's a great counter.
I would say a feminist
Great
would
counter.
be
That's a great
the kind
counter.
of new generational woman, the kind of feminist movement that you're seeing now, because there's been a lot of feminist movements in history. I would say the new feminist movement now, I mean, obviously there's extremities of it, but women that are pro-life, for example, women that think that, whatever wage gap is going on needs to be evened out, women, just that kind of thing. So what are your guys' opinions on that? On modernized, feminism?
Should I go first?
Yeah.
You guys want?
Go for it.
Go for it. So, my sense of what feminism is, and you always hear different definitions, and it seems to always shift. Feminism is a... Oh, Tanner. Oh, okay. He's just going to the bathroom. So feminism is a women's advocacy movement. It's not an equality movement. Feminism has always been about women's advocacy. They'll fight for equality only where that equality would stand to benefit women. If no benefit can be reaped, feminists will not fight for it. That's my sense of feminism. It's basically trying to secure preferential treatment
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm an egalitarian. I believe in equality, but I just cannot be a feminist because the core tenet of feminist is the patriarchy theory.
Mm-hmm.
And also feminism is just clearly anti-male. It's clearly anti-male in its ideology.
Yeah.
Well, I also just think that like the actual definition of feminism is just that like you believe that women and men should have the same rights. Like I don't think like behind all the other stuff, like if you're just looking at the definition of the word, like that's what I believe it is. It's not that I believe women should be superior to men. I just think that they should be equal.
So if that's how we're defining it, I like that definition. The word feminism though has so much stuff attached to it, like that we're straight white males trying to oppress women with our opinions, and that we're evil and we are the patriarchy embodied.
You're pretty evil.
You mean that?
You're pretty evil. No, I'm kidding.
Bro.
What time is it? I have places to be, bro. I'm sorry.
It is getting late. We have been. It's 10.
Okay.
Lauren. She's getting really angry. I'm sorry.
I'm not getting angry. I'm just like, I just don't. This isn't like productive. Like, you're not gonna change my opinion. I'm not gonna change yours. Like, there's no point.
I'm an egalitarian.
There's differences between us that we're never going to be able to understand. Like, for instance, so I'm the only boy, like, in my family. I have a older sister and a younger sister that I love a lot, and you know, they're both very beautiful, and they've expressed how they have come across situations where like they couldn't walk down like Hollywood Boulevard or something like that without feeling like afraid and getting catcalled, and then like getting pursued super aggressively, and we're like, they turn them down, and then it turns aggressive, and they're like afraid. I will never be able to understand that. Like, I won't. Just there's a lot of things that you guys will not be able to understand as men that we deal with, and that's just, you know, it's yin and yang. That just is what it is. You know what
also,
I mean?
I just want to be really clear. It's totally okay for you guys to disagree with us. That's totally fine. It's encouraged. There's no ill will towards you guys or anything. We're just, you know, this is content. You know, we're just having a debate. That's how I view it. Like,
yeah, honestly, that's kind of what I just said. Like, I do think that like we just have different viewpoints. Like, I respect some of your viewpoints, and I'm sure you respect some of mine. But like, I just think like the point of this conversation, I feel like I'm just getting frustrated because I feel like there's certain blockades that like I will never understand and you will never understand.
It's just we all have different life experiences. Every single one of us has a different upbringing. We have different parents, different everything. And so, I mean, that's the thing about arguments. It's hard to see the other side when you've had, you know, you were raised a certain way, you guys were raised a certain way. We're different genders, we have different struggles. So, I mean, we're not invalidating your guys' struggles and you guys aren't invalidating ours. So I think we can reach the middle ground of maybe not agreeing, but accepting your guys' opinions.
Let me just respond to that. Like, I feel like we're saying that we have different opinions because we're different genders and that we would never understand, you know, where you guys are coming from. And it's a valid point. I would be curious to hear a conversation between you guys and all of the women out there that disagree with modern feminism. You have the same experiences as you guys, and they have a lot of arguments against modern feminism. And a lot of the points that you guys have raised. I think that would be an interesting conversation.
But there's a lot of people that disagree with the points that you've raised as well. There's always going to be people that disagree.
Yeah,
so.
the reason I said it is because you're implying that you guys are implying we're disagreeing because we're a different gender with different lived experiences. It's not about that. Like,
Well, it is about that. I mean, you're disagreeing with us because you don't. You're disagreeing with us, and we're disagreeing with you because we're different. Like, we have different views. Right?
You guys, just show of hands, do you identify as a feminist?
I would say yes.
Show of hands.
This is part of you guys.
Okay.
Like, why are you guys
we know what their answer would be.
I don't agree with a lot of modern feminism.
I'm not holding.
The definition of the word.
The what?
The definition of
But
women should have equal rights. Yeah.
But in practice, it's totally something different. What would you guys be open to me challenging you to change your identity? You identifying from a feminist to an egalitarian.
Explain what an egalitarian is in
Someone
more
who
detail.
believes in equality. But in practice, it's something that's very different. And the core tenet of feminism is patriarchy, which.
Is there like a word, like, is there like a masculinism? Is that like a thing, like masculinism? Or like being
There's men's
masculinity?
rights advocacy.
Wait, is there a word for being like the oppression of men? Like, is that a word? It's called.
I mean, there's a matriarchy.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's
because
what
I was going to
wouldn't know
argue.
the word for it.
Because I was going to argue that the reason that the word exists is because like women have struggled because they don't. So I think that isn't like the same thing. It should be synonymous with the word egalitarian. Like, but I just obviously people have taken it too far. But like, I'm just saying that's why it exists.
Yeah, I would say that almost the opposite equivalent is like the positive masculinity movement.
But which is what is it?
It's just kind of generally.
Literally.
And what'd you say?
What do we think about Andrew Tate, guys?
Well, he's
No.
like one of the people in it. Some people call it the manosphere, but like, there's a movement of positive masculinity, and it's focused less though on like fighting oppression and more on bringing like the best possible help as many people.
I think that's a great movement. Like, I think that men should struggle with
Healthy
like,
masculinity.
Obviously, like,
Yeah.
there's a huge reason why you think women are more emotional than men. It's because women have been more, like, taught to accept that they're emotional and, like, acknowledge and deal with their emotions. But I also think it's because
It's a hormonal
that men.
thing.
Okay, it's not just hormonal.
It is.
Okay, it's not only
It is.
hormonal. Obviously, there's exceptions. Like, there's some, like, non-emotional women and extremely emotional men. I'm saying that, like, I think that men like have been conditioned to not like have emotions, and I think that is detrimental and contributes to toxic masculinity.
I understand.
No such thing.
I understand. I 100%.
There's just toxic people. Is there toxic femininity?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes.
I just think that there's toxic people. Why gender it? Why do we have to gender everything?
That's
Can't
a
we
good
just-
point.
The reason why
Someone
it's
can
called
be
toxic
Let
masculinity
me ask:
is
is there toxic blackness?
What the fuck?
No. But
Maybe.
you see where I'm going with that. It would be. I'm not saying I want to make something clear. I'm not saying there is, but you see like how attaching the term toxic to that can almost be in the same way that would be a racist thing to say. It's a sexist thing to say that there's toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. I just think people are toxic. Toxicity knows no gender. That's my take.
I respect
That's
that.
a fair
But I think
point.
that the reason why we
Very
attach
fair point.
masculinity onto toxic, there's no shortage of things that could be toxic. I'm just saying that by attributing, like by saying toxic masculinity versus just saying toxic, it kind of acknowledges that the reason for this toxicity, this certain type of toxicity, is because of the way of like more masculine, I guess, areas, like the reason by how men were shaped. You know, it's not just by like people being toxic. It's just saying that like there's a reason why it's called toxic masculinity.
What are some examples of toxic masculinity?
Like calling guys simps when they're like into their girlfriends, like things like that. You know?
Yeah, that's
The simp
Simp
term
thing
is a
is-
useful
that
term.
is so annoying.
If you're calling a dude a simp,
What about
whatever
calling a
he's
guy a
like-
pussy when
okay.
he's crying?
There's a lot of women that want to like clearly step all over men, right? And then there's a lot of men that clearly just want to take advantage of women. Those are the far reaches of both sides. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like most people don't fall within those categories, but they're out there and they get the most attention, mostly because of how people digest most
my
communications
God.
via social media, and it's not the moderate views of most people that are going to get the most attention. It's going to be the people from far reaches because that's going to drive the most attention, the most clickbait and escape. There's a middle ground. Of course, there's going to be those crazy feminists that are out there that they don't want equality, they only want superiority, and that's it. There's also the same can be said about men. You know what I mean? They're out there. The vast majority of people aren't going to fall in those categories. This is not going to happen.
you guys also do the whole like, simps and pussy thing. There's a shitload of girls who call dudes simps, and there's a shitload of girls who call dudes pussy.
I know, but I can't speak on like every other woman that's existed. I'm just saying from like a general point of view.
I feel like YouTube just got lower.
Men have been conditioned to think that like showing emotion is like a sign of weakness.
That does happen. Men and women are temperamentally different. We have different temperaments. And when I mentioned this came down to hormones earlier, you guys laughed, but like, and I'm not sure why you guys laughed, but this is like a really important thing. Like, the dominant hormone in men is testosterone, and the dominant hormones in women are estrogen and progesterone, okay? Those change how your brain processes emotion, right? When a man has healthy testosterone levels, he's not prone to chaotic mood swings and having his mood all over the place. When women are going through a pregnancy or when they're going through different phases of their cycle, your guys' emotions can go all over the place. All of you guys know this, okay? This is just a part of nature. It's just how things naturally work. It's not a bad thing, but this is why a lot of women lean on their men in their relationships to be like a grounding, stabilizing force for them when they feel like a lot of emotion. Because men generally have more stable emotions, and it's not as much because of conditioning, but conditioning comes into it. It's because of what's happening in our bodies.
I'm sure that some,
Wait, what did you want to say something to that?
I said I think I just laughed because like I think it's erroneous to attribute all of like the emotions, like the discrepancy of emotions between men and women just to hormones. Like I think obviously like yes, that's a part of it.
How big of an effect hormones have on our
I know
our
hormones.
psychology?
I know. Okay, obviously I know that women like are more prone to being hormonal in like the emotional sense, but I also think that a factor of it is because men aren't like conditioned to express how they feel.
That's part of it. That's part of it, for sure.
that is part of it, and a lot of men have like super low testosterone now, like way less than ever. Hell, some dudes will probably call me simps like on here just for saying this, but I will say like that women's innate ability to lean on their emotions and be more emotional, that's what makes women beautiful, and like their ability to do that and to have those perspectives from their emotions is a good thing. Just as men who are able to lead from their frame, that is a good thing too. Again, it's the yin and the yang. Like men and women are made to complement one another. Like we are superior and inferior to one another in different ways for good reason.
I agree.
I like that. I really like that. I like that analogy. I like the yin and yang. The men are superior in some ways, women are superior in some ways. We offer different things.
That's like I'm a very unempathetic
That girl in the middle was
person.
like, this
Did you say
bitch
unempathetic?
making no
Yeah,
sense.
a lot of the times. But for instance, like who I'm with right now, she is very empathetic, and I guess we complement each other in that way.
Wait, can you talk about her? Can you talk about your situation? Can you? We've been having a
What do you wanna
heated
know?
debate.
What do
I
you
feel
wanna
like
know?
it's kind of a
Yeah, what do you want to
lighted-
know?
We need some lightness.
Okay. You know the whole situation with the thing, and then the thing. Can you talk about it?
Do you want?
Can you just give us the quick story?
I mean, not really, but
Okay.
then.
So
Yeah.
Okay, never
and,
mind.
and let me just say with what we were saying before, like I know it's like heinous for dudes like to stand against feminism or whatever.
No, I'm not.
I know it's like heinous for us to like stand against it, but one of the reasons why I'm like not totally in support of everything that comes with feminism is because like there's this idea that the only differences between men and women are because of like cultural conditioning, and that men and women are basically equal in how we function and all this stuff, but culture conditions us to be manly or to be womanly. I think God created men and women, like Tanner was saying, to complement one another, and I think that feminist narrative of like it's all cultural conditioning, I think that like overlooks like some of the most beautiful aspects of our humanity,
Yeah, I agree, but I also think that just by like categorizing all feminists into that label, it kind of like gets rid of the ones that are actually like rational, like hopefully like part of us are being,
I got a question. So, feminism is about equality, right?
Yeah.
So, what is a way in which feminism has advocated for men?
Well, I mean, they like agree that men should be able to like express their emotions without shame.
Okay, that seems fairly minor. compared to some of the
What do you
other
mean
issues men
express
face.
your emotions though? Can you elaborate on that? And who do you think that men should explain their emotions to?
I mean, just like as a general way of saying like they're allowed to have emotions and they don't always have to be like solemn.
Okay, I will say this, right? So, for instance, right now, like with my relationship, I think that a man, for the most part, should be like a rock in a relationship and should be, extremely strong and lead, right? And he shouldn't burden the woman that he is with his like emotions, his heavy emotions. I'll say it like outright right now. I Chase is one of my best friends. Like, I've cried to him and been like, hey, this is what's going on in my life, and this fucking sucks. This is the worst thing I've ever gone through my entire life. And I'll express those emotions, like, with him and go to him to help, be like, hey, man, I need help with this, right? Like, this fucking sucks. I'm not going to go to a woman that I'm with and be like, hey, this is the hardest thing I ever deal with, and I don't know if I can do this, because they're going to lose confidence within me. And they're probably just in their innate being, yeah, they're going to lose confidence, and they're not going to trust me as much. Versus, like, I can go to strong men that I have in my life that I'm super grateful that I have, and talk to them about what's going on. You guys might not understand that, and that's okay.
Chicks say that they want men to express their emotions, but when men express their emotions in moments of weakness, it causes chicks to break up with dudes. It's happened a million times.
So it's always bad.
It's
always
bad. But this has been a very heavy conversation. I feel like
we should talk about body count.
No, we should not.
We should. The 621 guy. I bet you can't fight.
What's exposed? Oh shit. She got exposed. So just Pearly Things, another member of the Red Pill community, but a woman trying to enter the Red Pill community, speaking on, you know, the male perspective in the Red Pill era.
Apparently, if I want results in life, I have to start talking to boys. Yeah, wife me up if you're in the London area.
I've noticed a lot of therapists are like older single women, and I'm kind of like, if you can't maintain a relationship, why would I take advice from you?
Listen, just lonely things over here, okay, without her man, okay?
People think I'm encouraging cheating. No. Like, I think if a woman cheats, she's trying to leave you. If a man cheats,
yes.
he's just like, it's like a handshake.
Yeah.
Women act like this is the most unforgivable thing, that he is the ultimate bad guy, the ultimate demon if he does this. I'm sorry, sometimes you contributed to it. And women take no accountability for that. And that he wants to go to the bar with his buddies because you make that shit a hellhole. Because you are so unpleasant to be around.
And men getting hard. So if they do what's hard, it's valued. If we do what's easy, it's not.
I am so enlightened by Pearl teaching us how being a man will magically eliminate all of the consequences of cheating. You know, like breaking your trust with your partner by lying to them, getting another woman pregnant that you now have to support, humiliating your wife, causing family dysfunction, and bringing home disease.
If a man cheats, it's like a handshake.
That is one hell of a handshake, Pearl. And promoting promiscuity is a great way to help create the single moms that her podcast actively speaks out against.
Their mating strategy is they don't want to pass on resources to another man's kid. Like that's why they're repulsed by hoes. That's why they're repulsed by like other people's children.
You're probably wondering by now, where is Pearl's ring? Well, I'm here to inform you that Pearl is single and unmarried at 26 years old.
And the reason I decided to go to therapy is because in the next like 5 to 7 years, ideally, you know, some things are out of your control, but ideally I'd like to be married.
Sorry. Every time I see her talk about getting into a relationship, I just keep hearing
She is too picky.
just lonely things. That's all I keep thinking about.
According to her, is because she is too picky.
You're single over a certain age, you're probably too picky.
And I say that it's because she's too picky because she claims that 28 years old is pretty old to be getting married.
What do men value? Third thing men value, youth. How are they getting youth when the average age of first marriage for women in the US is 28.6 years old.
And Pearl doesn't have much long-term experience in dating either. According to this interview on Yahoo News and what Pearl says online about her dating experiences on various podcasts, she's only had a couple of boyfriends. If you can do the math of her being 23 in the Yahoo interview, they couldn't have been that long considering she just turned 26 in the past couple of months. And that got me interested in knowing who is Pearl picking, considering that anytime a guy does something wrong, no matter what it is, she tells women to simply just pick better.
Okay, so then you pick guys that cheat.
I discovered that last year Pearl tweeted about a breakup she had, so I decided to go ahead and check the archives. And it turns out that Pearl actually got catfished by an obese man with 2 children on TikTok.
Pick better, bitch.
Damn.
She got catfished by the obese man with 2 kids.
Damn.
I'm sorry. I think I'm starting to build a crush on this monotonous girl.
Baby, when did we start dating?
Yep, that's right. An obese man with 2 children on TikTok. And I point out
Angry
that he's
reacts?
obese because Pearl is constantly dunking on fat girls.
Why do I need to look at your roles and then I have to go on social media? Then boom, whale. Boom, another whale.
The cherry on top is that Pearl has been pretty adamant about men having children being a deal breaker for her.
For me personally, I'm not into the guys with kids. That's not my thing.
Instead of immediately breaking up with him for hiding 2 whole children from her, she instead takes him in to live with her and her family to mooch off of them.
Because he was homeless when I first met him. So I moved him into my parents' house so he could get an ID.
Too.
Yeah, and so my
Show
parents
proof of
put
him.
him on our lease.
Aw.
So that was how and they
Wow.
moved him in for he lived with us for a month.
Meanwhile, Pearl is out here humble bragging about her bagging a rich one on podcasts.
Oh, he was a millionaire. It was just he didn't know what to do with it.
How did you know a millionaire?
He was on social media and I saw he lived kind of close to me, and so I made videos saying oh, we should hang out.
Hey, man. I told you, we don't got much commentary for this one. This shit wild, bro. They're going through it.
Oh my god.
They are exposing the shit out.
Oh my day.
Homeless millionaire.
Have you never seen those videos of girls shooting their shots at guys
No.
publicly? I was on TikToks and I did a video saying, when he's not doing this comedic bit, he's actually kind of fine. I live in Chicago, you live in Chicago, we should hang out.
I am pretty confident that Pearl is referring to her ex Wanya in these instances because Wanya is from Chicago, like the millionaire ex she talks about in the video. There are multiple articles saying that Wanya was homeless when he was around 22 years old. I do find it funny that Pearl dating Wanya, or people know him as Angry Reactions, was framed as her bagging a rich one. Meanwhile, he actually moved on to date a more attractive redhead, and she's still single and unmarried. It seems like her advice on lowering her standards to get married isn't working out so well for her. Pearl has the absolute audacity to tell women to pick better when she literally got catfished by some girl's obese baby daddy on TikTok.
Yo, this girl's getting brutal.
My girl's going in.
My crush is building.
Yeah, he has a lot of followers, but he ended up having to mooch off of her anyway, so. Not only does she regularly dunk on obese people, even taunting them in her TikTok bio before she got banned, but Pearl will even put all the blame on women for obesity in America, despite half the obese population in America being men. How can Pearl dunk on fat girls so often, considering that she has clearly neglected her own self-care? This video of her is only from 1 month ago,
Damn.
and it might surprise you to learn that she's a professional athlete.
Professional
Is she
what?
being petty? Yes. Is she making points?
Yes. Yeah.
Do I approve? Absolutely.
Yes.
God, now. Damn. Just porky things. Let's keep going.
And despite her lack of
Damn,
self-care,
just
she still likes to spout a lot of statistics about fat women, despite being corrected on
my.
this by Destiny
Poor
on her live
Pearl.
stream.
There's a lot of fat people. Fat people stay with fat people.
Well, women by and large are fatter than men. Women, and if you go in the U.S., the woman's always fatter. BMI.
So in the U.S., the average BMI for a man is 26.6, and the average BMI for a woman is 26.5.
Oh, I stand corrected.
Yikes.
But even after he corrected her, she continued to misrepresent the statistic.
How can we say that as a whole, in the US, in the West, we're good wives, when 80% of us are overweight, and that's the #1 thing that men value. There's a lot of room for improvement with Western women. 70% of us are overweight. The average man makes more than the average woman, but the average woman is fatter than the average man.
So this is actually a really good one, because it shows that all these people who say the red pill is the truth or whatever, when they're given the actual accurate information, they'll still go back to peddling a lie because it benefits their grip. Even though this is something that most people just skim past, what I think it really shows is that she's a liar, and she will purposefully lie, and she's caught in real time lying because it benefits her audience and she can sell her product.
Right.
It's actually the most telling thing in this whole interview in a random way, or this whole video, because you see her lying in real time. She got the right information, went back to the false information because it appeals to the people she wants to sell things to.
Pearl speaks on men valuing attractiveness, purity, and youth, and says in order to get a high-value husband, or husband at all, you should be those things.
Men value purity and youth.
Yeah.
Purity, youth, beauty.
Pearl fails to meet these standards herself despite wanting to get married so badly.
Not only is she accurate on the thing, and she's thorough in her research, but god damn, my girl's a savage.
I don't even care that Pearl is unmarried. I just hate the fact that she constantly clowns other people for not being, and she can't even do her own fucking diligence to do her own work.
But it's a bit what you said earlier.
Like
you was talking about. Women are being accessible because they always argue and stuff like that, and they nagging. So you making you said that's, and it is true. That's her.
Yeah.
She's doing exactly that. She's the polar opposite of
what she preaches.
Yeah.
Apparently, if I want results in life, I have to start talking to boys. Yeah, wife me up if you're in the London area.
In terms of purity, Pearl's not a virgin. Pearl actually wanted to partake in hookup culture.
But I swear to God, like, guys don't try to sleep with me. like, I swear to God, I've been on a date and I would have been dead, and you just never tried. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't even touch me once.
Yeah.
He didn't touch me once, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if guys approach me often.
It could be the clothes.
It could be the clothes. They are flaming a motherfucker.
Oh, poor
flaming
Pearl. Oh, golly, bro.
We're just witnessing the murder with popcorn in hand. I ain't snitching on no one.
Popcorn in hand.
We all saw it. We not saying a word to the cops.
I ain't no witness.
Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of me not saying shit.
That ain't nothing. We watching this one.
So, according to Pearl, I guess we shouldn't be taking her advice, considering that she can't attract men even for casual encounters.
I've noticed a lot of therapists are like older single women, and I'm kind of like, if you can't maintain a relationship, why would I take advice from you?
Oh my god. Oh my god. She went there. You asking for it, bruh.
Okay, Venti. Okay, Venti. Okay, Brittany, go on, do your thing.
Flaming.
Yes.
Flaming. Who's that girl?
Brittany Venti.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you guys are liking this video, go to her channel, give it a sub, go like.
I might need to go watch some more of her stuff.
She's somebody who espouses conservative values in a lot of things, but she's really good about what she does, at least from what I'm seeing in this video. So I mean, I'm gonna give her. I mean, she did this much research. You gotta go show her some love. Give her some of that AdSense dollars, okay?
And she thinks what's holding her back is the fact that she's like 6 feet tall.
I would say if there's one thing that's held me back in dating, it is the height.
But I think it's because of her desperation, and they can sense it along with her low standards.
She just doesn't give off any feminine qualities. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm just being honest with you. Like, forget how I feel about her person as a person. I can separate the two things. I've hated personalities online, but like, she fine as hell. Or I can see Pearl has zero sex appeal.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Unfortunately.
That's why she went on a date with a dude and he didn't even try anything. It's because
she just makes me think of the Mormon girl you might see at school.
Facts. Guys, if I'm lying, you guys get in the comments. And don't be a hater. Be honest. Don't say you would hit it because you haven't masturbated in 3 months. Like, if you got some options in life. And I would never talk about somebody like this openly. But because she talks about desirability and she can't find, like, I'm going to just tell you why you can't. It's because there's zero sex appeal.
That is fucking hilarious. That's fucking.
Moisturizer is coming. You will not only save.
Damn, that's a long ass
All the
commercial.
things that you look for, he might. And you know, if a guy has all the things that you look for, he might cheat. Yeah. So how can I be that mad if he cheats when it's like I picked him?
Would you accept if he's just stepping up but not getting anyone pregnant?
Are we married?
No, you're in a relationship.
I think if I'm being truly honest with myself, for the right guy, I probably would.
How many times?
I don't know how many times.
She's basically announcing to the world, hey, I'm Pearl. I'll tolerate cheating. Please marry me.
That is facts. Like,
yo,
you just look pathetic.
Yo, dude.
I would tolerate cheating from the right man. It's like you would tolerate somebody like betraying your trust. Let me be good for you. Yeah. Maybe what Pearl's saying is like, I would allow a dynamic in which my man could step out, and like I would be fine with it. Okay, that's not the same. That's not cheating. When you say cheating, that means that he is betraying your trust. That means that you guys have come to an agreement, and this person's stepping outside of that. If you're saying you want a one-sided open relationship, just say that. Stop saying cheating if that's not what you mean. But if you're saying you would allow somebody to cheat on you regularly, you're a loser. Okay, sorry. You want to get in, that's how I would see you. I would never take someone like that seriously. You can't even assert your own boundaries and keep something in terms of the sanctity of your relationship solid. How are you going to educate your kids in terms of respecting themselves and respecting their dynamic? How are you as a Christian woman going to educate your children in that life, at the same time doing something that's completely one of the worst sins in Christianity? Sorry, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. But anyways, if I'm being good faith, that's what I think she might have meant.
I wouldn't say worst sin, but
I mean, it's one of the only sins for which you can break your marriage.
But it's not one of the worst sins.
No?
No.
Why not?
It's not.
If it's one of the only things that you can do to break a marriage, how would you say it's not the worst sin?
Because
you could do a lot in a marriage.
Yeah, because the thing that happened, it's not sins is not necessarily inherently within the marriage. There's other sins that exist, right? And the worst sin, I believe, is killing yourself.
Yes, that is one of the worst. Okay, you don't say adultery is in the top 5?
I want to know.
Okay, but is adultery?
I think murder is worse. That's top 5. There's 7s, nigga. Like, stop.
I gotta take a week.
There's 7 deadly sins.
Adultery is considered a great sin.
It's a great sin, but it's just 7 main sins. There's 7.
This is what it says in
So
Genesis 20. It says maintaining a primary bond with one spouse is essential. Failing to hold one's spouses at the most important human relationship is the beginning of problems.
That's according to Genesis, but there's a New Testament and the Old Testament.
Okay. If a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, then both of them shall die.
According to Genesis, that's in the Old Testament.
This is Leviticus.
My nigga.
I don't know Bible stuff.
Don't step in.
Hey,
that's not your lane.
Hey.
I would never step on Quran shit.
Hey.
That's not your lane.
Hey. Listen. I don't even step in on Quran shit. The Muslims be getting mad. Okay.
Exactly.
Listen. Leviticus sounds kind of fire. Leviticus. Hey.
Leviticus.
Leviticus. Genesis. All them niggas. They sound kind of.
That's the Old Testament.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to
Old Testament, nigga.
Okay, you know what? My Christians. I said top 5.
There's 7 deadly sins, nigga.
There's 7, but there's more sins beyond that.
Topic.
I said, is it one of the most serious ones? And you said no.
No, it's not.
Okay. We having a biblical
7.
Hey, Ruslan, get in these comments. Who? Ruslan, he's the Christian YouTuber who's doing this thing. He's reading the comments sometimes. He about to be on this. He wanted to interview you too.
The what?
He wants to interview you.
He wants to
interview, yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it's very insightful stuff. Don't worry. It's not like he's going to slap you over the head with a
I don't
Bible.
shit if he does.
But he's good. He's cool.
I'll slap back.
Especially considering she's on her dad's dime.
Number 1, I'm sorry I'm not a brokey. My dad yells at me for accounting every month, and I have to like organize like business
Sorry, I'm
expenses
not a
versus
brokey.
personal. So my dad does yell at me when I pull out cash because he can't see what he's spending on.
Pearl reminds me of Pearl from SpongeBob, asking her dad, Mr. Krabs, for money.
How much is all this costing me? Here's the receipt.
God damn.
Oh, Daddy, you got me everything I wanted.
She also reminds me of Mr. Krabs' daughter because he wants her to be a star and he's paying her way to do so.
Damn, bro.
Sorry, that was a crazy reference.
You know who Mr. Krabs' daughter is?
Who?
The whale.
Oh, wait.
Okay, bro, let's keep watching. I'm not gonna do that.
Being a little YouTuber is tough. I'm really tired of being broke, Dad. I can't mooch off of you forever.
My little girl is finally a star.
Oh my god.
I'm sure that Pearl
I don't know
understands
which
the real world struggles
I
of
don't
the
know which
average
channel is
person
doing
from her
that
10-bedroom
editing, but
mansion.
good lord.
You guys want the house tour?
But clearly there is one thing that money cannot buy.
A
And
man?
that thing is taste. This video is from Pearl's channel called Wife School. In the first episode, she and Allie, known as Real Femme Sapien on YouTube, meet up to improve on Pearl's fashion, along with a male stylist who is supposed to be helping Pearl attract a husband by improving her outfits. So let's take a look at some of the outfits he puts her in.
Perfect for a night out on the town.
I'll do the full twirl. It's like
This dress looks like a trash bag.
God damn.
That's fire. That's fire, bro.
God, man.
Oh my days. All right,
She
bro.
looked like a trash bag. God
She
damn.
said it, and we all went true.
Yeah. Whoa!
Okay.
All right.
All right, man.
I got burnt from that one. Good
You
lord,
are a
bro.
little savage.
It's unflattering on her because it's showcasing her stomach, which is not what she should be highlighting. Not only that, but the black is washing her out, making her look very drained, especially considering the fact that she normally doesn't wear makeup. Going without makeup is a personal choice and it's fine, but if you're gonna do that, you need to know your color palette or you will look even more tired and sickly when you wear the wrong colors. I'm going to go ahead and explain a little bit of color theory to you guys. Color season is a system that utilizes color theory to categorize where each person falls under in order to easily find out what colors look good on them. It's based on how their skin's undertones interact with other colors, and that involves how light or dark their skin is relative to the hair and eye color. If you have warm undertones in your skin, you'll look more yellow with green veins in your wrists, and if you're cool tone, you'll look more pinkish or reddish with blue veins on your wrists. If you have a warm undertone, you should wear warm colors. If you have cool undertones, cool tone colors will suit you best. You have to have a trained eye to be able to see it in some cases, but Pearl is cool toned as you can see with her pink flush in her skin. Pearl is either a light summer because of her cool tone coloration, or she would be a light spring because it's right next to light summer in the color wheel. It's a little hard to tell on the internet, but I know for sure she's on that side of the color wheel. If you look at someone and the first thing you see is their outfit's color instead of their own natural coloration and features, then you're wearing the wrong colors. The stylist doesn't apply this knowledge or even utilize basic color theory, and instead, he takes her to a cheap, fast fashion store like Zara. If he were actually good at his job, he would not be making these mistakes. If money were an issue, which clearly for Pearl it's not, there are better budget-friendly places you could go to for higher quality clothes. For example, go thrifting. But yeah, clearly Pearl doesn't need to go thrifting. He could have just taken her to a higher end mall or a department store. Honestly, he just does her dirty the entire time.
That's super cool.
Damn.
Okay, I should confess something to you guys. This stylist, I know who he is. I met him while I was in London. He's actually a fan of ours. I just recognized him. I think this is purposeful sabotage. And so, yo, listen, Leighton, if you're watching this, shout outs to you.
That looks really nice.
Where would I go with this outfit?
I think that could be an afternoon. I think that could be an evening outfit. I think you could go out in Shoreditch wearing that. You could go to Canary Wharf to one of the bars down there. Meet some nice high value guy.
He looks at her with a straight face, telling her she's going to meet a high value guy in this outfit.
Hey, you remember when we said women are way more vicious with women?
Sorry.
That's just facts.
Oh, it'll look nice going out for errands and having a nice dinner. He's just talking out of his ass.
So what do we rate this? 1 to 10?
Damn.
I reckon it's a high 8.
Like, I don't know how a stylist can honestly rate these outfits so high.
Alright, now we're talking.
Spin, not too fast. Okay.
I mean,
He
that
must
was
think
better
that
than
she's
the
a dumpster
first
because
one.
he keeps putting her in trash bags.
Bro! What? Qu'est-ce que le fuck?
Oh, not
you know
the
what?
trash bags. God damn.
I
think the color.
Angle it.
It's all right.
Yeah, this one's alright.
This is actually like the only one.
Better.
This is the only one that's fine.
Because he's done it now like 3 or 4 times in this video, and he's not highlighting any of the flattering parts of her body, which defeats the entire purpose of having a stylist help you. There are several different body shapes, but for Pearl, she holds most of her weight proportionately in her arms and in her stomach. And that should have been taken into consideration when he was dressing her. Regardless if she loses weight, her proportions will stay the same relative to her other body parts. You can bring balance back to the body by drawing the attention to the most attractive body parts and away from the least attractive ones using color, patterns, texture. But of course, he would know that if he actually knew what the hell he was doing as a stylist. It is honestly just so frustrating watching him not look smacks her. In this outfit, the skirt does not work. Pearl could have put on some jeans with a wider cut at the bottom to balance her upper, heavier half, or she could have put on a skirt that was A-line, high-waisted, and above the knee, but in middle of the thigh, not too short. Would have done the trick to bring attention to her legs and away from her stomach.
Why are you pulling in the back because it's too big?
That is, though, size aside, that's pretty cool. But
sorry, these fucking outfits are jarring.
that is proper, like, using.
Oh my god.
Yeah, should I wear it for New Year's Eve? Get it fitted? Or let me
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
You see how he
no.
literally highlights her stomach with bright green sparkles? I can't take this anymore. And then he has the audacity. He must got it from Pearl. The audacity to suggest for her to tailor a Zara dress that won't survive one wash.
She's gutting Pearly. She's gutting fucking Zara.
But you know what? She's not just being petty. She's speaking facts.
She's not wrong.
She knows what she's talking about.
That's the thing.
She knows what she's talking about. So I'll take it.
You might not like the delivery, but I mean,
hey, you got your pizza.
It's still a pizza.
Literally go watch a fashion channel. Go watch Ali Art on YouTube and then come back to us when you actually know how to do your job. And it's not just her frumpy style that's preventing her from looks maxing. It's also her presentation with her hair. She's not bothering to style it. And many people are even commenting about it under her TikTok, telling her to brush her hair. Pearl's hair just needs a haircut with some texturing to give it volume so that it's not so stuck and flat to her head. Her hair is very manageable.
How bad is it when you gotta have the internet tell you to brush your hair, bro? Like, I got frizz. I know it's bad. I live with it, but like, I'm used to it. I brush my shit. I just got like the little flyaways or whatever, so like it doesn't like all lay back. So I got frizz, but like, as a girl, I feel like you should already know that.
How is she going to teach other
You should
women how
already
to
know that.
attract a husband when she doesn't even put the minimal effort in her own appearance?
No, I've noticed
That's
a
a
lot of
bit
therapists are like
scary.
older single women, and I'm kind of like, if you can't maintain a relationship, why would I take advice from you?
That didn't.
So
that
if she
didn't
wants to be
age
taken
well.
seriously, she should care about her overall presentation, including her fashion, hairstyle, her attitude, and bodily self-care. This situation is so deeply embarrassing and desperate. She has no business telling other women how to attract a husband. I wanted to give Pearl credit for trying to improve on her fashion, but she makes it really hard to do so when even months after this video, she continues to show up on camera with her hair undone, unbrushed, stuck to her head, no volume.
That was not washed.
She looked like she's balding in that.
Yeah.
Because you could see her fucking
It's just
brain.
because it's greasy.
She woke up like
Her
that.
hair is dirty. That's why. So it clumps up together and there's no volume.
Okay, all right. I think we watched enough of this. If you guys want to see the rest of it, there's plenty of portions that we didn't watch in this because we want to encourage you guys to go watch the full video. So go support her. She did a great job. If you guys like this video, leave a like and comment, but definitely go there. I'll say this. I don't want to have to cover this girl again. Okay? I promise you guys we do one last video, and I thought this was a good one because I think it summarized a lot of the issues that exist with this person. And I think it also showed
is
in
our
real
good
time
friend
how
talking
she
about
lied
it?
on purpose because it suits her agenda financially. So, like we said before, we think a lot of these people are grifting. We think a lot of these people want to make money off the fact that men are upset, men have real grievances, men have real issues, and these people want to speak to these people and their hurt and their pain to try to get their money. That's what it really comes down to. That's why so many of these guys will donate to Fresh and Fit and say foul things to the women who are on the panel. That's why men will donate to Pearl so she can say things to the people on the panel. It's their chance to get back on a lot of these people. It's not surprising. No. And Pearl, she is what she is. But yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I don't want to get her off again. So I don't have much else to say. What do you want to say?
That girl was speaking fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and end it there because Pearl got roasted enough.
Not to throw up. So.
What we got?
On something. This isn't a fight. This is like
Mm-hmm.
an anecdote.
Okay. Oh my God, he's probably rock hard on this. I can already predict the entire segment. Farha, a woman that does OnlyFans, is shocked that somebody might not be accepting of her history, and now she's trying to do the classic OnlyFans girl move of trying to date a conservative man after being tired of lib cucks, and even though her past is gonna make it impossible to do so, it's gonna be some shit like this. Okay.
So yesterday, I went on a date.
Mm-hmm.
It's back on the way.
I think Farrah's kind of like to Destiny like what Portia is to me. Like, let me tell you, I'm important. Pay attention.
We got lunch for like 5 hours.
Okay.
And then we went to the beach and hung out in the sand.
I can tell you my stand.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't ask me if I could like,
Right, that's
fine.
Just
Just
supposed to sell that. Like everything on you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyways.
Destiny's a little possessive. By the way, I did. You can stop sending me this link now. I did see the one.
Destiny? Did he say I'm a little possessive?
Yeah. So anyways.
I think Destiny's a little possessive with her. By the way, I did. You can stop sending me this link now. I did see the one clip where he admitted to texting her on the whatever podcast while we were on. So what's funny to me is I've seen her on other shows and she's been like sort of been taken to task. I think she was on with like
texting her on the whatever podcast when we. Oh, yeah. I think I texted her. Wait, when I was on, I think I texted once because I was curious if that was really her who donated. Is he implying something else? Is he implying that I was texting her while she was on? Because I don't believe that was true. I don't think I was even watching while she was on. I think I might have been streaming the whole time.
Alex from Playing with Fire or something like that, but she was getting like grilled by some guy talking about like women's rights and men's rights and stuff. And I could tell she was typing, or she was on her phone, but she was also like typing and stuff. And I could tell that she was just getting like one-liners from Destiny.
I have never in my life done that with Farha. Texted her one-liners on shows. I don't think I've ever done that in my life. But he might think that I do it because he did it with Pearl. That's basically confirmed. That's what she said on stream. You texted her about unequal relationships. I might have sent her a message about it after, but I don't think I was watching. I don't think I was watching this debate live because she told me not to watch it live, and then she was and I caught some of it afterwards because I was streaming while this was going on.
Dude, man, just don't get your chicks. It's like Charlie's Angels, right? It's like Destiny's Angels. Okay, yeah, you can prepare them a little bit better.
Everything's going perfectly. I love tradcons. I actually know how to like.
I hate. This is the most difficult way for me to navigate this space when we talk about like women or whatever. I hate the way these guys view women. Unironically, it is actually, in my personal opinion, fucking disgusting how, like, I'm sewing out a little bit on like the objectification of it, but like women are literally like playing cards that these guys like trade around and treat like property. It is, I don't talk about it much because I'm not usually in places where people actually act like this, but it is so fucking disgusting. It is so gross to me. Ugh. Like, somebody didn't raise you right. Jesus.
And stuff.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out on the beach, and he's like talking, like we're really vibing. Like this was probably like one of the best dates of my life.
Okay.
And we're vibing, and he's talking about how much he hates the industry and how he's like very against.
Whenever a woman says vibing, what that means is like your game's on point. Like women will use the term vibing or energy because it's a placeholder term for like things that they feel but they can't describe.
Yeah, that's why it's called a vibe, you fucking retard. That's what a vibe is. It's like a feeling or an emotion.
Calm down, Destiny. He's a boomer. Let him live.
Describe those feelings for you. Just you can learn to vibe. But
He's
like,
a grown man who wears a beanie
vibing.
in his house. He cut him some slack, bro.
I'm like a prostitute.
Okay.
So then I got really stressed because
I'm a whore.
he wanted to kiss me about that, like if I told him the OnlyFans thing, I thought it'd be a huge turnoff. But I thought it'd be like if I kissed him without telling him, since he's so against the industry. So I came clean.
What about this whole opinion?
So I shoehorned it into conversation, and I was like, I forgot how it came out. I was talking about living in LA, and I was like, yeah, and then I started an OnlyFans.
All right, I'm gonna push this up to the relevant point right here, which I believe is about the 4 minute. This is actually the whole reason.
Like, should I just delete my account right now? Which is probably the dumbest thought I've ever had. So I don't think I'll be drinking anymore unless it's Arise. But then I was like,
did you guys catch that on SSRIs? You're drinking on antidepressants. That confirms a lot of rumors.
the first day with them, I don't know if they'd even care.
Wait, what rumors does that confirm? What? Wait, what? Can somebody explain what the implications are?
But I just felt like I heard Rolo Tomasi in my head, like when he said to me on the podcast, like, do you think you having an OnlyFans is preventing you from finding the guy who would eventually want to have sex with? And like when he said that, I thought that was ridiculous because I started my OF in LA and nobody there cares.
Okay.
Say my name. Would you agree?
I don't. There's a lot of stuff going on, but just keep talking. I'm listening.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. All right, so that was one point. Anyways, later on, she talks about this. And essentially, the hypothetical that I threw out at her on whatever podcast came to pass. Wow, imagine Daddy Rolo was right about something, Farrah. At least you got lenses in your glasses right now, but I know that they're not prescription. I hate being right all the time. Yeah.
God, he's bass booted so much on the microphone. He's so insecure.
Not so crazy now, huh? Not that hypergamy shit. Not so crazy now when you see it in action. Hey, Echo. Yeah.
Wait, how is this even hypergamy? Is he even like hitting his right talking points? Wouldn't it only be hypergamy if we knew that the guy was like wealthier than Farah? Did she even say that?
Yeah, so I think what was ironic about this whole thing is like I'm getting all this bullshit like, oh, he didn't give me any research or anything. I give him like tons of research. It's just like he just posts every time with every new thing, and I'm basically done with it because there's no point.
Rollo did not give me any research, by the way. His whole Alpha Fox Beta Bucks thing was completely and totally dismantled by me live in 4K, worldwide, high def, max bandwidth, live stream on YouTube, live stream on Rumble, archived in VOD, whole world watching. Sorry, ship has sailed on that one. And it happened again on Twitter while I was tripping balls on the same thing happened again. The whole foundation for his ideology has no basis in research whatsoever.
And having that conversation. It's just disingenuous and dishonest to begin with. But I think it's ironic, and I think you're probably going to see more of this happen in the future, especially if you just bring my name up on his show about that. Because yes, I know I'll spill the beans. I'm not going to say I know how I know, but I'll say I know that she had something going for Justin Waller for a while, right after that show. But I would be wary of that girl. Like, just I don't know.
I'm gonna blow this up. Sorry. No, I shouldn't. I don't wanna make her shit public. Here's what I'll say. What Rello is presenting here is completely backwards because I've seen all those texts and he's totally lying. The sad thing is that these red pill guys will pretend that they're getting more action than they even are just for like clout with their friends. It's actually so sad because I wouldn't expect that these guys would need to do it. Like, are you not at all? Like, are you actually this sad or pathetic that you're like showing like one message to a friend to try to prove that some shit is happening that's not? It's actually so stupid. I don't want to. Actually, for the next Farah Friday, whenever that is, remind me of this interaction so I can see if Farah wants to leak these texts. Because it's really sad and funny because of how he tries to present these.
So give that girl a wide berth because, I don't know, stay away. Don't put your dick in crazy. So anyways, that's that. The reason I'm tagging that on to the end of today's show is that, well, first of all, it's right. Thanks. But second of all, it's a proof of concept. I mean, alpha fuck beta bucks, right? Well, what was the whole point of me even explaining that? I was trying to say that women with high body counts, women with OnlyFans, women with a digital footprint will tend to be less desirable for long-term relationships with guys who women really want to get with. Like the guy's like, oh, he's perfect. I fell in love with him over the course of 5 hours. Even though I had 5 Prosecco's and I'm on SSRIs, but I fell in love with him. Stay away.
What did she say? She fell in love with him. She just said she really enjoyed the date and wanted to see him again. Are you okay, Rollo?
Not a Christian!
Yeah, stay away. But yeah, but the whole point was that the reason why guys find that like they're a little hesitant to get with women who are bad bets for their own fraternity is because of hypergamy. It's because it goes right back to the micro part of hypergamy. It goes all the way back to, is this guy, or even disqualification.
Okay, I don't even know if he knows what he's like. What red pillar do you think was the most difficult to debate against? I don't know. Oh yeah, true. Does Rollo go over the part where ultimately the guy... Oh, you know what? That's actually a key part of that story that's really important. And it shows that my understanding of life is better than their understandings of life. Because Rollo's ideology would actually make incorrect predictions, but my ideology would make correct predictions. Because Rollo was trying to say some shit at the end about like, oh, like high value men won't go blah, 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 blah. Do you remember when Farah asked me when she's like, well, what do you think happened? Or why are you laughing or whatever? What do you think happened after showing my thing? And I said, my guess is he probably said, oh, you know what? Actually, I'm okay with this and it's not a big deal. That was my guess. And that's exactly what he did. But like, what does Rollo think would happen? The guy would say like, well, I'm too high value and I don't want to like mess around with somebody with lewds on an OnlyFans or whatever. Like that would have been Rollo's prediction and it would have been wrong. Okay, so that guy. That wasn't your guess, loser. That was my guess. That was literally my guess. My guess is always that men will simp. I know that. I've seen it happen enough.
What do you think happens?
I have no idea. Let's go ahead and find out.
Do you want to place bets?
Not really, because I didn't see the interactions. If I had to guess, I would say either one, he pretends to change his entire position.
No need to place bets.
No. See the interactions leading up to this point. My guess would be one is that he'll pretend to change his entire position because he doesn't actually care about it that much, or two is that he has decided he doesn't care, but he just wants to see your shit without having to pay for it. Those are like my two guesses right now, but let's see what happens.
You thought he asked to see my like the album just to get free OF content?
Yeah. Did you not see the studies Rollo sent you? The problem is Rollo doesn't understand what I'm asking for. None of the studies that he sent me mattered at all. The dual mating hypothesis implies that women will be different guys at different parts of their cycle. That's what the dual mating hypothesis predicts. But the only thing they can prove is that people's attractions change based on their hormone levels. That is not proof of the dual mating hypothesis. That's it. You mean you have done it enough, LeMayo? I don't simp for any girl. No. But I don't have to. I'm like successful enough that I don't have to simp for people. And also, I think for the way that I pick up women, I don't think women want me to simp anyway, because it's not like an attractive. It's not a very attractive quality, I don't think. What is simping to you? Simping is when you like misrepresent your values in order to fuck somebody, basically. You did admit to simping for Brittany Simon during the bridge burning regarding cleaning up specifically. I did not admit to simping, and I didn't simp for her. What I said was there's a whole bunch of misogyny related to Brittany Simon and Lab, which is still true, by the way. But two things can be true at once, right? That like somebody does legitimately say dumb things, but also somebody is, but also the subreddit is being misogynistic. That's a view that I maintain to this day, and it's also a view that's 100% true.
Well, okay, so.
Guys, we are.
Friend,
oh, sorry about
that. And I
that.
told her, I was like, hey, you see that girl over there? She's really cute. Can you go talk to her for me? And then she goes and talks to the girl, and she tells the girl, hey, go up to him. He thinks you're cute. She's gonna be like, nah. She's gonna be like, he can come to me. Like, nah.
In that situation, yeah, that's kind of weird, but like that's not how anything takes place. It's more likely
Right.
that I'm gonna DM some guy I'm friends with and be like, oh, my friend who's a girl thinks you're hot, dude, like here's her Instagram or whatever, and then he's like, or like vice versa. Like if I have a guy friend, I've literally done this with Alex, or I've been like, oh, my guy friend, or whatever. Like I've told him that like I had a cute like single girlfriend,
And he messaged her.
through Instagram, but I was like the coordinator.
Okay, right, but why didn't the girl message him?
Because I don't know.
Aha. But okay, so.
But all I'm saying is like in the online realm, I think that these things function a lot differently, and I think that that's how people date for the most part now. For like, it's not really like me going up to some random guy on the street and being like, oh, hey, you know, it's so good to meet you.
What I would actually say is that on dating apps and on social media, what I'm talking about here is actually more pronounced than it is in real life. Because on dating apps, it's just looks. On Tinder, people are just looking at looks. So, and what they've actually done some sort of experiments or studies on this. The top 10% of men on Tinder are they get the lion's share. So you have 80% of the women that are chasing after the top 10% of men. Because men rate women on the bell curve in terms of attractiveness, but women, I think something like find 80% of men unattractive. Physically unattractive. And they've done studies on this on OkCupid. And we can go around the table really quick. Like, of the men that you see, let's say on a dating app or in day-to-day interactions, what percent of men would you say you find physically attractive? They don't have to be a male model, but you find physically attractive. 40%? Okay. Okay. I know you're
Wait,
in a
is this in Hinge? Wait, is this just in my life?
You could, let's just say dating apps.
I guess like maybe
What percent of men would you, I know you're in a relationship right now, but what percent of men
like
would you?
15 to 20%.
Okay.
Same, probably.
15 to 20, okay.
I don't know. I always go based off of looks first. So.
She goes based off looks. Okay, so what, I mean, are you on the dating app right now?
Nope.
In person, what, just if you had to throw a number out.
55%.
Okay, that's fair. Well, Luke, you're not dating men, so.
No.
But I can ask you, what percentage of women would you say you find, they don't have to be like top tier model girls, but what percent of women would you say you find physically attractive, either on dating apps or in person?
Again, that I see, probably like 50, 60.
Okay.
I'm gonna chime in real quick.
I'd say, and for me, I'd say like at least here in IV, honestly, like 80% of the women I see in Isla Vista, I think are physically attractive. But
Same
go ahead.
with
You
men.
said you wanted. Wait, same.
Same with men. Like,
Oh.
there's some pretty good-looking guys.
Okay, fair enough. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I just think it's interesting. We're talking about how, you know, you guys are like not into hookup culture, but we're like going, you know, you also just kind of go based off looks and whether you want to like fuck someone right away. So then it's like,
I have other. I have
well,
other.
do you? Okay, so so what do you find? So what do you
I
look
have
at
a-
on a Hinge profile?
On a
Like
Hinge
that's
profile?
if we're talking like, is it just like, do you guys just
I mean, most.
go off of physical? I only have Hinge, so I don't know Tinder. But like, is it just physical, or do you like read people's shit?
I read girls' stuff, and I actually think the highest amount, the way to get the most matches and the most success is actually like to read the prompts, and if you can, do something clever. But even then, or say something clever in response to a Hinge prompt. But I mean, it starts with appearance, and then I mean, honestly, not gonna lie, most girls' dating profiles are bogus, like weak. There's some good ones. But I mean, it starts with looks. But I mean, I think for a lot of men, if they don't, like for me, I'm interested in more long. If it's just casual, like one-time thing, I think guys are gonna prioritize looks. But I prioritize other things, and I can get into it. I have some traits here. Some traits, and I've written them down. So here we go, and this is a whole bunch. A woman not need have all of these, but if she does, she's a unicorn. So, youthful, feminine, fidelitous from the jump. Fidelitous, so sexual faithfulness. Peaceful, pleasant, not quarrelsome, doesn't nag, gentle, innocent, modest, humble, demure, temperance, cooperative, submissive. And that word gets a bad rap, but to put it another way, willful cooperation. So follows my lead, right? Because here's the thing, like I know you guys are kind of grimacing or whatever, but like a lot of y'all will say, I want a guy who's successful, ambitious, confident, blah, 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 blah. You want all these things in a man, right? Maybe you want a guy who's dominant. Well, if you want that, you have to, there can't be two leaders. I believe in a relationship. Someone has to lead. That's my take. You guys might disagree. That's totally fine. I'll give you a few more. Not obese, fit, petite, boobs. I don't really care. I'm not gonna front. I'm kind of team small boobs. Okay, nice ass is good. Doesn't have plastic surgery. Not a fan of plastic surgery. No BBL. No fake breasts. No lipo. No fake lips. Doesn't cake on makeup, or wears no makeup. That's my preference. Has long hair. Shaves her body hair. Not a hoe. Not the town bicycle. So low body count. Doesn't post overly revealing photos online. No like sex work currently or in the past. Not a single mother. Doesn't party. Doesn't go to bars, clubs. Drinks in moderation or doesn't drink at all. So those are some.
And you said you're single, correct?
So what are you looking for?
That's just a really long list.
Well, I mean, some of them are a bit repetitive, but were there any in particular that you took issue with? Because a lot of these are fairly not particularly difficult for a woman to do.
What's your definition of feminine?
What's my definition of feminine? I mean, some of the words that I used in this list are what would be considered traditional sort of feminine traits or characteristics.
So
feminine, like a bit more demure, for example. I don't want some loud, obnoxious chick. No offense.
And what you said about posting revealing stuff on like Instagram. So like, again, your definition of revealing.
Like bikini pics?
Yeah.
I'll tolerate it.
Why does it bother you though?
So men and women flirt differently. So men, we have to go up to you, but women, the way women flirt is by being there. Let me ask, do you get DMs from guys on Instagram that are romantically interested in you? Any girls at this table? A few? Okay, so this is gonna piss some people off, but like, you receive attention in different ways. I don't get any DMs from women. Most men, the vast majority of men, will never get a DM from a woman in their life in terms of a romantic interest. As a woman, you just post some photos, bikini photo, tons of DMs coming in from dudes, sugar daddies, let me pay you $1,000 to take you to Starbucks. That's how women flirt. You just have to show up, right? So it's a bit different. Bikini photos, whatever, fine. I would say though, like, I'm just gonna be totally honest, I do prefer women who dress a bit more modestly and have a public facing modesty. That's just, I want to make something clear. Women are free to post bikini photos. That's totally fine. But this is just a preference and a standard of mine.
So then what? You'll tolerate bikini pics. What's your stance on like guys posting shirtless pics, or like if
it's different. It's a bit different because like guys, we don't really get DMs like that. Like we don't really get that sort of attention.
I can pull up my phone and look at tons of fitness influencers or guys on TikTok who
that's
post
their job.
Yeah,
that's
but they
job,
post
though.
thirst traps and they may not get a ton of DMs, but they've got tons of thirsty comments, and I mean, I know they all get DMs.
I mean, the bikini photo
just because
thing,
people post thirsty
low.
People post thirsty comments all the time. A lot of people put these comments and they'll say shit that they actually don't even really think or believe. It's just they want to make a funny comment that gets a lot of likes on the thread, and they just want to make something that, you know, gets attention on the thread. So if they can make it simpy, funny, thirsty, whatever, they're gonna do that just for the reaction. That's not a really good judge.
On my totem pole of importance, like, it's not, to me, it's not so much a deal breaker, but would it be my preference if a girl just didn't even have social media? Probably. That would be my preference if she had no social media.
Why?
Because that's how women flirt, is to be out there in the ether. Now, listen, I mean,
this is giving red flag. So I'm not gonna lie.
See, but here's the interesting thing is that men,
how did I not get
men
with
are
the
not
knife?
allowed to have preferences, standards, and boundaries. Nobody bats an eye when a woman says, I want XYZ in a partner. But the moment a guy says, here are my boundaries, preferences, and standards, oh, misogyny, red flag, this, that. And the fact of the matter is, women are more picky than men are. Women, and maybe you guys disagree, women have far more standards for men than do men have standards for women. Women are incredibly picky. Not just looks-wise, but also certain character traits. Nobody bats an eye when a woman has, like I said, wants XYZ. But if a guy says, I want XYZ, insecure, misogyny, blah, 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 it's always going to be met with some sort of shaming language. But go ahead.
Well, I agree, but I also think women a lot of the times are met with like equally shaming language, like we talked about, like them being called hoes. So,
but in respect to their preferences, standards, and boundaries, if a woman has certain,
then they're asking for too much, or they have really high standards. So I think it goes both ways. I mean, I think that, you know, and I think you're right. You know, you have your preferences of what you're looking for in a partner. Totally respect it, but yeah, they're interesting preferences, I think, because, like, you don't think two people can lead in a relationship. That's interesting. I feel like that kind of, so why? Do you need to be the one that's, like, in control, like, leading, you're the successful one,
What is up with this whole leading in a relationship bullshit? Like, I never understood this argument of men need to be the leaders in the relationship. What are you leading exactly? You're both parties, men, women, like in a relationship, once they form that relationship, is essentially like a partnership, bro. Like we're working towards the same goal. We both want to get a house. We both want to get a family. We want to build something. So in that aspect, you're working together, and that's where the whole 50-50 thing comes in. Great. But what then are you leading there? Are you leading who gets to pick what color paint you paint the house? Are you leading in this is what we're gonna eat for dinner tonight? Like, what exactly are you leading at that point? You select a partner, a person that you fall in love with. You select that partner based off of their character traits, based off of their looks, based off of whatever laundry list of criteria you need in a person to be with them. So during that time, you should also be discussing, like, where do you want to be in 10 years? What do you see yourself wanting to live and settle down? Do you want to have a family? Do you want to have kids? Blase. And then that's where the two parties agree on something, and then they move forward towards that goal. Not one person leading and saying, we're gonna have 3 kids and we're gonna live in this city and we're gonna have this house and this is how it's gonna be. Nah, that's not how it is. So that's the part I don't understand. Why is there such a big fight for who's leading a relationship? Who's being submissive in the relationship? Now, when it comes to, you know, we're in a committed relationship and you want to go out with your friends every goddamn night, then okay, I can understand you want to put some kind of boundaries and ground rules down in that aspect. But at the same time, you have to put out that information and say, look, this is not what I feel comfortable with. I don't trust this for this reason, blase. Then you move forward and you work on it and you agree upon it, because it takes both of y'all to do that. You can't just lead them into doing that. So like, I never understood this discussion. Doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like, is that kind of what you mean? Like, I just thought that was super interesting. What do you mean you can't?
I would have no issue dating a woman who is actually the breadwinner. That wouldn't necessarily be an issue. The issue, I think, is more so most women
one is an
date
island.
up and across, so they're not going to date down. If a woman makes
Okie fam all
if a
day,
woman's an
bro.
attorney, you guys are, I assume, very successful.
I
You
say
make
bro,
decent money,
very non-binary.
decent money. You're probably not going to date the guy that works at Starbucks.
That's not
I disagree.
true.
I disagree. I think that based on
your last boyfriend paid for everything.
Right, but clearly I'm not with him. So I don't think that necessarily is true for me. So I think that it depends on like just a whole bunch of other things. And I think that I actually don't think that it depends on occupation on my Hinge profile. It's not something I tell people right off the bat. It's not something I ask right off the bat, because I feel like you can have, you can have this like high title, or you can be, famous or whatever, or rich, and you can be a shitty person, and it's like probably not interested in dating you, And so I don't really ask. I like to feel out the vibes. I definitely don't want a couch potato, but I think that like if the vibe's right and it like works, I would date like someone that works at Starbucks if they're a good person. Like, I'm into it. Like,
okay, so would you date a guy who wants to be a stay-at-home dad? Do you want kids?
Yes.
First off?
Do I want kids?
So
I don't know.
When you have, okay, so you'd be totally okay having a life partner and you're providing everything for them.
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I think that.
That's fine.
That's very rare.
Then that's totally fine. You should leave him.
Yeah.
You're gonna be the boss.
Or you can find someone that's equally a boss that isn't threatened by your energy and you being a boss, and you guys can just both be bosses together.
I suppose. I mean, they've done studies on this, and the fact of the matter is most women date across and up socioeconomic hierarchies. So most women, if the thing is, as a woman, as you become more successful, your pool of potential partners tends to shrink because most women don't want to date a guy below them socioeconomically. If you're making $250,000 a year as a litigation attorney, I know you guys aren't doing well. I don't know, whatever. Like, you're probably going to want to date someone who's at your level or above you. I'm sure you guys know some very hyper successful, incredibly brilliant women that probably would not be satisfied dating a barista.
Well, I think it depends also, because once you're in the profession and you're networking and you're rubbing elbows with you're just going to meet those types of people. It's not until you go on Hinge where you're like, oh, okay, it's a different world out there. But
Right.
I think that, I think that at least the women I hang out with and the women that I definitely vibe with more, it's just not something that's on my, you have a list, that's not on my list. My significant other, I don't really care what they do or how much they make. It's just are they supportive? Are they a good person? Do they have a sense of humor? Can I trust them? Those kind of things are, I feel what's important. I think you can lead with a partner and communicate and be fine. I don't think it has to be a competition. That's exactly what my last relationship was, and not it. So.
Okay. Cool. Did anybody else want to come in on this?
I mean, I definitely agree. It doesn't matter to me what their occupation is or what they do, how much they make. I will say that it does matter that they have some sort of ambition or drive. If they're a barista, that's cool, that's fine. But if they want to half-ass that and work part-time and spend the rest of their time literally doing absolutely nothing, that's a different story.
Okay.
So what?
See,
so
I guess
then-
the difference, and I realize there's women that are
in that discussion. All right, so you're saying you want somebody who's thinking ahead or whatever and progressing, whatever, but you're still okay with being with that barista. Well, if you're okay with being that barista, why are you concerned with what they do at the rest of the time? If that barista is bringing, like you said, it doesn't matter how much money they're making, right? What exactly are they supposed to be doing with that other bit of time if they've already fulfilled what they wanted to fulfill based off of that? Or are you saying that they have to constantly be pursuing better baristas? Like they have to be the best barista of all baristas? What? How can you have ambition but then be okay with just being a barista? Are you baristaing so you can get your own cafe? What kind of ambition is this girl looking for with that barista in that example?
perfectly happy relationships where they're the primary breadwinner. Maybe the guy's he's not employed, he's taking care of the household, taking care of the family. But I'm speaking in generalities here. Of course, there are all sorts of dynamics in relationships, but I would say overwhelmingly, most women date across and up in terms of their partner choices. If I was an attorney, I would have no issue dating a woman that worked at Chick-fil-A, that worked at McDonald's. If I'm making 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, I'll date the baddie 19-year-old. To me, a woman's money is not really important to me. But I would say a man's career, a man's finances are more important to women. It's more of a factor.
Can I chime in?
Of course.
I think that when you have a job where you make enough money that you can support yourself and you don't have to worry about anything, whatever happens in my dating life, I'll be good. If my boyfriend makes no money, if I don't have a boyfriend at all, if nothing happens, I'll be able to afford all my own shit. And so I think it actually opens up your pool of people, because if you're going out there and you're being I don't make that much money and I need to meet some guy who's going to be able to make enough money that he can support our kids, then yeah, of course that's going to be a concern. If you don't care about that because you can support your own kids and you can pay for your own shit, then you don't care about what your boyfriend's doing necessarily. Yeah, I want him to be happy and passionate about his career, but I don't care if he's making more money than I am or
Ain't
even
no
the
way,
same
bro.
amount. It doesn't matter.
And if that is a woman's genuine position, hey, I'm making all this money, I'll date a guy who's kind of a bum, I
didn't say a bum. I said somebody who makes less money than me.
Sure, but I think I do genuinely think most women want to date a guy that's on their level or above. I think that's the case for most women.
Oh boy, that's a topic I hear these red pill guys bring up a lot. Like I know I mentioned it earlier, as far as like, just because a woman is wanting a man who makes a certain amount doesn't necessarily make her a gold digger, doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing that she's got that in mind. The issue is when you've got girls like that who have that number in mind, but they don't have the idea of compromise. Now, the girl who said like she could date a barista and still be okay, you know, that's, I say that's rare because you don't hear a lot of people speak like that. They still want to make sure they're successful, they're doing better, they got ambition, blah 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 blah. So I don't know, it's that's a weird one. Because at the same time, it doesn't matter how much money you got. You can have all the money in the world. If you ain't got the right riz, as they put it, you ain't getting nothing. That's why, like, Destiny making that comment about how these red pill guys are having to compare that one text message in a phone, when you think they would have more action than that. Well, no. Most of these guys are just shitty people. Their personalities are very abrasive. Who would want to sit down and talk to them for more than an hour? Most of the reason why the guys are talking to these women now are because they're on a podcast and they're debating each other. But it's, God, I can only imagine what it would be like, you know, listening into how they would discuss something with a date. And, you know, like, good Lord, bro. People always think they got the world figured out. I wish this round would hurry up and end. I'm gonna call it quits after this match. So, this has been test number 2, actually. Just to kind of get an idea of what sound levels are going to be like with the YouTube and the PlayStation going at the same time. I want to try and make sure, you know, it's audible and understandable, so you don't get excess shit preventing you from hearing. That was despicable. Yeah, I don't want to start another video, because then I'll be in this constant loop of like wanting the match to end and then wanting the video to end. Oh shit. I thought those were teammates and I ran right into a den of them. God, I yeah. Motherfucker. of here. Just because I want to be able to talk shit after this one.
Participating items and save $1.
Oh man, I didn't get to use my Predator missile. God damn. That was just disrespectful. I'm sorry, guys. GG's though. Yep. And we're calling it quits there. I appreciate anybody's time who decided to tune in. Like I said, this is still a work in progress, but baby steps. We're getting there. We'll figure it all out.